The Steelers and the Titans, featuring two of the NFL's top coaches. Bill Cowher, 44, Jeff Fisher, 43. They competed in the NFL as players. They match wits today in a key AFC battle.
Subway presents Fresh Starts, a special tribute to those teams and players determined to beat the odds. Subway, eat fresh. The Falcons are 5-4 after cornerback Ashley Ambrose intercepted 2 Brett Favre passes, including a final attempt with just over a minute left in a 23-20 win over the Packers. Cleveland completed a season sweep of the Ravens in Week 10 as cornerback Anthony Henry had 3 of the Browns' 4 interceptions in a 27-17 victory.
You know why I like this place? The heat lamps. Keeps food hot for hours and hours. Okay, who's in the mood for something made fresh? Subway makes every sandwich right before your eyes, so you know they're fresh made.
Our 4 Subway selects are fresh made and each with its own tasty sauce. Like the delicious Southwest chicken with the zingy Southwest sauce. And the horseradish steak and cheese with the zesty horseradish sauce. All on your choice of fresh baked gourmet bread.
Who needs heat lamps when you got Subway, right guys?
Severe weather yesterday, tornado warnings, but look at it today. Blue skies and 65 degrees on the last weekend in November. Ideal conditions as Tennessee will kick it off to the Steelers. Joe Nedney, the left-footed kicker for the Titans. Remember, they met earlier on a Monday night in Pittsburgh, and it was a rout for the Steelers, 34-7. Troy Edwards and Hank Poteet are D for Pittsburgh. After losing their opener, the Steelers to Jacksonville, they've won 7 of their last 8. This big house of 68,000 cheers the opening kickoff. Spins down to the 8, Hank Poteet. And Poteet dragged down at the 24-yard line. And flag down on the play back at the 41-yard line. Eddie Berlin, the tackler on that opening kickoff. Bill Levy, one of the new referees.
Illegal block in the back. Number 40, receiving team during the return. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Myron Bell, Steelers safety, and there's Cordell Stewart. Really coming to life. In fact, last week is 266 yards passing, his best of this season. The numbers are misleading. 4 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. He's been playing terrifically well at quarterback the last 5-6 games since that win against the Titans in Pittsburgh. With a penalty, they start at the 10.
I think efficient would be the right word to describe Cordell. Not flashy, efficient.
One of the noisiest houses in the NFL. As Stewart tosses to who else? Bettis, and he draws the crowd. He may have gained 1. Eric Morris leading the charge from a safety spot. A look at the Steelers starting offense. Up front, they've got some changes today. Gandy, Faneca, Harding's the former Lion. Oliver Ross moves into Rich Tilsky's right guard spot, and Marvell Smith, the right tackle. In the backfield, Bettis, second leading rusher in the league. Whitman, the blocker. Plexico Burris and Hines Ward, the wide receivers. And Jeremy Tooman for Mark Bruner at tight end. Bruner out for the season. 10th year already for Cowher at age 44. What a job he's done. On second and long, Stewart fires underneath and complete to Plaxico Burris, who had his best game of the season against Tennessee, 157 yards on 6 catches in that first encounter. Here are the Titans defensively with Kevin Carter, the former Ram, Josh Evans, Jason Fisk inside. Javon Curse, 35 sacks in 2.5 years. Favors Godfrey, the leading tackler, and Robinson at linebacker. Andre Dyson, the rookie, brother of Kevin. Samari Roll, Pro Bowler at the corners. Terry Phoenix and Eric Morris at safety. On third down, Stewart complete to Hines Ward and a first down out at the 23-yard line in front of Andre Dyson. Hines Ward, and he slowly is being acknowledged and recognized around the league.
For his all-around play, we've known about his blocking, a quality receiver. But I think we get a really good and interesting look at this newfound faith here in Pittsburgh, this faith in Cordell Stewart. 2 of those 3 plays deep in their own territory, they allowed him to throw the football. And you know something? That would not have happened several years ago. That's a newfound faith in Cordell.
Well, that is a compliment. The toss to Bettis, and he's got some running room. He barrels out of bounds at about the 33. It'll be close to a first down. Perry Phoenix, closest Titan defender.
And who would imagine would be throwing a block out in front of this? But number 86, Hines Ward. He's going to get out, but that just completely took Tennessee by surprise. You see Ward there finishing up at the very end, and they just did not account for contain on that side of the defense. And that's got to be an adjustment right away. You can't allow to lose track of the bus that early in the ball game with just a convenient little flip to the weak side. Too easy.
And it's a first down for Bettis, who needs only 82 yards today to reach the 1,000-yard mark for the 8th time in his career. More and more, you don't have to apologize for making the statement, the best big running back perhaps in NFL history.
Well, he's certainly one of them. John Curse already, you see him over on the Tennessee sideline, and he's had to come off, kind of shaking one of his legs. Looks like he's putting his hat back on, getting ready to enter.
So from the 10-yard line, the Steelers with their second first down at the 33. Blitz, quick toss, complete to Plexico Burris. Diving, nope, he did not come up with it. Trapped the ball. It'll be 2nd and 10. Down on the field is Bonnie Bernstein.
Hi, Dick. Well, you mentioned the Steelers are playing without Mark Bruner today, a tight end by trade, but blocks effectively enough to be a lineman. Jerome Bettis says, without him, I've lost my guardian angel. Not only does he block defensive ends for me out on the edge, but he literally picks me up after every single play. And he said, believe me, as much as I'm on the ground, that's a big deal.
That was an interesting point. He said, I appreciate it. So Bruner's big mid, he yanked me up. There's Jeremy Tuman, played his college ball at Michigan. They say he's done a fine job when asked. Here's Bettis up the middle, and he is met with a good low shoulder tackle. Perry Phoenix, the 4th-year safety from Southern Mississippi. He's playing for Blaine Bishop. Bishop, the veteran Pro Bowler, is out of action today, a foot and toe injury.
Well, given the choice of the knees or the shoulders, I think most of the Tennessee tacklers are going for the knees of Jerome Bettis. And you mentioned big back. You're right, Dick. At close to 260 pounds. That's fullback territory all the way, and yet light of foot, nimble. He plays a tailback position at that body weight. It's really an incredible sight.
3rd and 8, and Amos Zerouay, number 21, is in the backfield for Bettis. Blitz. Stewart fires complete to Hines Ward again, and it's a first down near midfield. 61st catch of the season for Ward.
Boy, and what kind of a start is this for Cordell? Hasn't even had to improvise every time that he's thrown the ball so far. It has been a good, solid, crisp, tight spiral. Outstanding blocking up front by his offensive line. Look at this. Kevin Carter not getting anywhere, working against Oliver Ross. Spins him all the way back, and you know what? That's the way you finish it off. As an offensive lineman, that's the way you finish a guy off. Let him know if you think about getting back up, you're going to get another one.
First down at the 49. Bettis, the fake. Stewart rolls, throws, incomplete. Knocked away from Plexico Burris.
Well, there was a question as to whether Burris had possession and then had it knocked away. You saw the officials on the sideline conferring with one another. The one official closest, here comes Plexico Burris. He's going to come right at us. The question was, did he have possession and then have it knocked away by Roll? And no, just as he was getting ready to put it away, you've got to really demonstrate possession as a receiver now under the new rules and regulations as to what is a reception. Outstanding play by Samari Roll.
Boy, did he ever close. Led the team in interceptions a year ago with 7. 2nd and 10. Fake the reverse to Ward. Down the middle, and wide open is Burris. And it's a first down at the 25-yard line. He was left all alone.
And Cordell Stewart knows that he had to hold it to the last second, allow his receiver to come over. Watch the hit that Cordell Stewart is going to take after the double fake. He's waiting, and at the last second he releases it. And he could not have thrown it because Burris did not come open until then. Outstanding. I tell you, Cordell Stewart, you could not ask for a better start than this.
And Burris, who enjoyed that fine night back in Pittsburgh against this Titan defense, comes up with another solid catch. 25-yard play. First down at the 25. Pump fake. And this is a planned run. Stewart to the 17-yard line and about 9 yards on the play. Eric Morris, the safety from Michigan State, makes the stop.
Oh, Marvell Smith. And the Steelers are already very thin on the offensive line position. Right guard Rich Tilsky is missing today's game because of an injury, and Marvell Smith, their starting right tackle.
And you've got to throw Mark Bruner in the mix because he was a great blocker. He's not around.
Big concern.
Marvell Smith will be attended, limped off the field. 10 plays, 73-yard drive for the Steelers, second and short. And Bennett's going to throw. And it was almost intercepted by Andre Dyson. That's a play that worked for a touchdown against Tampa Bay earlier this season.
Well, Bill Cowher told us that we might see it again. This time Tennessee, I think it's safe to assume, practiced against this play this week. The pitch to Bettis, he pulls up, but this didn't fool anyone in Tennessee's secondary. Look at Dyson, and Dyson, oh, so close to an interception. It looks like he controls it right away there with his right hand and just loses it on the way down. What a play by the talented rookie.
3rd and 1 with rookie Kedrick Vincent replacing the injured Marvell Smith. A rebuilt line. Here's Bettis trying to get outside. He's tackled for a loss. Greg Favors, the linebacker. Well, Bill Cowher, Dan, is really short on the right side. Tilsky is injured, didn't suit up today, and then the right tackle, Marvell Smith, out, so he has to rebuild a whole right side of the line.
Yeah, Smith took a big hit on his left knee as he had it planted. It kind of hyperextended. And you're right, very, very thin on the offensive line.
39-yard attempt by Brown. He's been having trouble missing to the right. He just skidded that one inside the right up hole.
Good thing he had a little hook on that.
Chris Brown, good. It's 3-0.
And never lets you down. Make it a Bud Light. Burger King, home of the Whopper. And by the all-new 200 horsepower Acura RSX Type S.
70-yard drive in 12 plays leads to Chris Brown's 39-yard field goal, and Brown kicks it off to Derek Mason and Mike Green. It goes to Mason. He took 101 yards for a touchdown last week. Not this time. Bumped out of bounds at about the 32-yard line, and here comes Air McNair, the #1 pick out of Alcorn State in 1995. His season, much like Stewart's, same number of touchdowns as interceptions. You've got to factor in his 308 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns running, leading this Tennessee team. His top running back, Eddie George, has scored only 1 touchdown this season after 16 a year ago. George lines up, solo running back, 3 wideouts. Take to George. McNair goes long. Dyson. Got it. Kevin Dyson. Touchdown.
Well, it's just the way you draw it up all week. You're hoping that the play action freezes the safety, means the corner's all alone, and that's Chad Scott. And he just watches Kevin Dyson go right by him. But the play action froze the safeties, the middle of the field wide open, and Chad Scott had no inside help.
This Tennessee team tough to beat here in Nashville. They're 17-3. They got an opening kickoff return for a touchdown last week in the win against Cincinnati. And on their first play from scrimmage today, McNair to Dyson, 68 yards. They're on their feet in Tennessee, 7-3.
And keep in mind, they said it hurts to throw the long
maker for Tennessee this year. That's his 5th as he blew by Chad Scott. A beautifully designed play by Jeff Fisher. And Tennessee draws in front 7-3 with 8 minutes 40 seconds left in this first quarter. That's the longest play from scrimmage by the Titans this year, 68 yards. Netney side wheels it down to Troy Edwards, starting the Sun. Edwards with speed. He's out to the 40, and Netney bumps him out of bounds at the 42-yard line. That's the longest kickoff return of the season for the Steelers.
All right, here's what's happening. The play action is inside to George. A crossing route right here by Kinney is going to freeze both of the Steelers safeties. Dyson has his whole middle of the field all to himself. There's the play action, the crossing pattern. Both safeties are on it, and the middle of the field is just too much for Chad Scott to try to defend. It's really impossible, or I won't say impossible, but it's improbable that a cornerback can run with a wide receiver and defend that much of the football field all by himself.
40-yard kickoff return. The previous high this year for the Steelers was 31. Stewart comes out throwing, almost intercepted by Randall Godfrey, intended for Hines Ward.
Well, Cordell so pinpoint sharp on the first series. This time throws a ball that could have very easily been picked off. Randall Godfrey, I'll bet you in practice, catches that ball 9 out of 10 times, and yet here in the game has it go right through his hands.
Leading tackler for the Titans on the season, as he was last year and the year before when he played for Dallas. Draw to Bettis. He just can't get into the open area. Jason Fisk, former Stanford star, got him around the legs. Let's find out the condition of Marvell Smith. That injury, Bonnie?
Well, Dick, as bad as that hit, look, the Steelers are diagnosing Smith with just a sprained left knee. They're over on the sideline taping him up. They're going to put a brace on him, hopefully get him back in the game. Good news because, Dan, as you said, Steelers are already thin on the offensive line.
Yeah, they sure are. And, boy, I tell you, if he comes back, he's a fortunate guy. That was a big hit he took on the knee.
3rd down and 10. No gain for Bettis. Shotgun. Stewart steps up. Down he goes. There's the sack from Josh Evans. His 3rd of the season.
Well, when you get a sack out of your interior line, you're pretty happy. You're expecting the pressure to, oh my gosh, did you see Javon Kearse get tackled? Javon Kearse got necktied, but Josh Evans kept grinding and got the sack. Outstanding pressure by the defensive line. Well, anytime you get a sack from a defensive tackle, you're really pleased.
Josh Miller's left-footed boot to Derek Mason. Fair catch at the 21-yard line. The Titans will put it in play there. 7:16 left in the opening quarter. Back in the capital city of Tennessee along the Cumberland River, Philadelphia Coliseum. Boy, a lot of great new stadia, but this has got to be one of the best.
Well, got an awful lot of seats between the goal lines.
Leading 7-3, McNair. Second play from scrimmage. He throws into the flat. Short yardage to Derek Mason. Mason with his 31st catch of the season. Let's look at the starting lineup for Tennessee. Up front, Jason Matthews, not related to Bruce. Pillar, Matthews in his 19th season, 40 years old. Olsen and Miller up front. In the backfield, Eddie George yet to carry the ball. Aaron Kinney, both a tight end and fullback. Mason and Dyson, we've heard from them. And Frank Wycheck is the Pro Bowl tight end for Jeff Fisher. Now in his 7th year, learned a lot of football under Buddy Ryan in Philadelphia. Played for Mike Ditka in Chicago. George's first carry for very little across the 25 to the 27. Kimo von Oelhoffen in on the tackle. And here are the men in white defensively. The only 3-4 base with Smith, the rookie Hampton from Texas, and von Oelhoffen, the down lineman, and the linebackers, and what a quartet they are. Gilden, Holmes, the rookie Bell from Georgia, and Porter, the Blitzburg linebackers, and Scott and Washington at the corners, and Alexander and Flowers, the Pittsburgh safeties.
Von Oelhoffen, he should be a Baron. Baroness von Olhoff.
Just a couple of more sacks. But McNair down the middle, complete to Mason. And Mason with a big gainer into Pittsburgh territory to the 45. He and Dwayne Washington a little extra after the play.
Well, Mason thought that he got hit out of bounds. He thought that he was already out when he took that shot from Washington. They're still talking about it. Well, Steve McNair, I think, has officially put the rest that the thumb in some way is going to interfere with him throwing the ball downfield with any power. And there it is. Well, he objects to that forearm right into the throat, and I think he's got good reason to be upset. That was a bit of a cheap shot.
28-yard play, and now George. Oh, he stopped cold with a solid hit from Aaron Smith. Smith just very quietly a defensive lineman from Northern Colorado. He was a 4th-round pick. He leads the defensive lineman in tackles on the year, throwing 5 sacks, and one of the reasons why the Steeler defense is #1 in the league. Big John Randall and Reggie White fan as a kid was Aaron Smith. 2nd and 9. McNair just does get it away, incomplete, intended for Kevin Dyson, and Von Olhoffen, the Baron, was in there pressuring.
Well, he sure was. Steve McNair had to unload that a little prematurely.
Well, you can wear what these players and coaches wear. Shop for authentic apparel and merchandise for the holidays at NFL.com or AOL keyword NFL.com. What is your favorite looking jersey? Not because you have a bias for a particular team, but what do you think is the best looking uniform? Just throw that out as a generic question.
I always thought the 49ers colors were spectacular.
Shotgun 3rd and 9. McNair buying some time. Now he's pressured. Fires to the sideline. Complete. Close to a first down to Drew Bennett, the rookie from UCLA. Undrafted. He was a quarterback wide receiver for the Bruins, and they really like him.
Well, let's take a look at the coverage downfield, because Steve McNair gets all the time in the world. Now, Pittsburgh only comes with a 4-man rush. McNair leaves the pocket on its own. He's really not forced out of it. But, boy, he finds the big target, though, given that chance. Dick mentioned Bennett's a rookie, but he's a 6'5" rookie. And that is a nice-sized target.
2 yards shy of the first down. The fans don't like the fact that Fisher isn't going for it. He doesn't want to give Pittsburgh field position. And so Greg Hendrick sends a very high kick towards Hank Poteet, who fair catches it at the 7-yard line. Timeout, 4:20 left. Opening quarter, the Titans by 4. Wednesday on CBS, Garth Brooks performs live from the beautiful beaches of South Padre Island. It's your last chance to catch Garth Brooks live coast to coast Wednesday on CBS. Friends in low places. I guess that's a theme for those fans who root for their team under 500, trying to get them back in the race.
Thought you were talking about the way I grew up.
Here's Bettis trying to keep that weight low as he barrels off tackle out to the 12, and a gain of almost 5, but a flag is down. I like the fact it's offside against Tennessee. This will now be official when we hear the actual voice.
Offside. Number 51. Defense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
How many young kids in the National Football League have you said, what was Marion Motley's number? And Jerome Bettis impressed us all yesterday.
Well, I wanted to ask Jerome if he had a real sense of the history of this game and where he fit in that history. And he said absolutely. He said if I wasn't playing, I'd be one of the guys sitting up in the stands with my face painted.
I like that.
Yeah, I did too. He truly loves the game.
He's out on this play. Zeroué in the backfield, 1st and 5. Down the middle, Stewart almost intercepted by Darrell Porter. He had great position on Plexico Burress.
Cordell should not have thrown this football. Plexico again, just a simple slant to the inside, but the underneath coverage, that is Porter could have easily intercepted that if it wasn't for the good play of Burress. Burress gets the right hand in there and smacks the ball away. Cordell had a lot of guys in his face, but ooh, risky throw into that coverage.
And here comes Jerome Bettis, who knew that Marion Motley, a big fullback for the Browns in the 50s, wore number 76. Fake to Bettis. And the throw to the sidelines complete to Hines Ward. And Ward out of bounds at the 35. Randall Godfrey there. And he continues to produce for this Pittsburgh offense.
But again, Cordell takes a shot. Tennessee might be giving up a few completions, but they are wreaking havoc on Cordell Stewart along the way. All right, you see the play action to the bus, and Cordell does complete this in a big play, but you can see he's driven into the ground, and he's got Joe Salvea landing right on top of him. So it's this has been a lot of heavy hits for Cordell Stewart to this point.
And you saw Hines Ward now with a new career season high, 62 catches. Bettis cuts back, and a wave of blue there to drop him after a gain of perhaps a half yard. Robinson and Evans and others for Tennessee. Well, Jerome Bettis has not been able to enjoy big rushing days against Tennessee. Never a 100-yard game in 8 tries.
Well, this is a defensive unit. You know, Dick, last week they held Corey Dillon to 38 yards on 17 carries in their win over Cincinnati. So this is, nobody runs the ball very effectively against the Titans.
2nd and 10, quick throw, complete to Burris, and he's out of bounds at the 49 of Tennessee. First down. Eric Morris got him off the field of play.
Was that Samari Roll that took a shot at that ball underneath? This is very close to being batted. There goes Roll underneath. He just misjudged the ball, and he took a chance. And as a cornerback, if you take that chance and don't hit it right there, that can end up being a big play. And he needed some help to keep Burris from getting any farther. But he got the first down.
So from back inside the 10-yard line, this drive now moves into Tennessee territory with the Steelers trailing 7-3. Back to the bus. And he's able to bowl forward for 4. Javon Curse, the tackler. Let's go down to B squared.
Dick, an update on Marvell Smith with the Steelers. The trainers have really been testing him diligently on his lateral movement. He seems a little bit unsure whether he could go back in. The trainers say he can. They're going to rest him the rest of the first quarter and try to put him back on the field in the second.
All right, thank you, Bonnie. Former Arizona State star has really developed into a top-rate offensive tackle in his 2nd season.
That he's even thinking about coming back in, Dick, is that's a real plus for Pittsburgh.
2nd and 6 for Stewart, and has to throw hurriedly, incomplete to John Whitman, the fullback. Eddie Robinson with good coverage.
Let's go back earlier on the Steelers' opening drive and take a look at the hit that Marvell Smith got on his left leg. This is Marvell right here. Now watch him as he comes through. He's going to plant his left leg, not this time, right there, and whack. He takes that shot right on the left knee and kind of hyperextended that knee backwards. And when I first saw that, I'm really surprised they're thinking about bringing him back in. That's great news for him.
Zerouay replaces Bettis on 3rd down and 6. Over the middle, complete. It's Ward again. The former quarterback in high school, went to the University of Georgia as a quarterback, converted to a wide receiver, and we all know he loves to hit.
He sure does, but it's the way that he's blossomed in so many other areas other than just being a good blocker. Runs great routes. Of course, he's, you know, as that former quarterback, what an understanding of the game he has, and his ability to read defenses on the fly, always a big plus for a wide receiver. And Bill Cowher told us before, he said, I think he's the best overall receiver in the game. Hey,
most complete.
Stand up for your own guy.
Bettis has a hole this time, and he runs over tacklers. A gain of nearly 8 down to the 30-yard line before Perry Phoenix and others can drag the 255-pound Jerome Abraham Bettis down.
Randall Godfrey talking about the fact that not only is Bettis huge, but he's so light on his feet, and this is a good illustration. Look at that. I mean, look at the nice he makes. Buys himself a few more yards. You just would expect a guy to be that big to just be a one-dimensional, one-direction guy. But Jerome Bettis has breakaway speed. He's got shiftiness. He's got lateral movement. He's got everything that a guy should have at 20 pounds lighter.
First down, and the pass incomplete through the hands of the leaping Plexico Burris. That'll bring up third down and a long 2.
Dick, you overthrow Plexico, you're really overthrowing a guy.
He's the tallest wide receiver in the league, almost 6'6".
You wouldn't think this is easily done, but the ball just gets away from Cordell. Look at Plexico Burris get off the ground. I think I speak probably for every commentator in this league. When you meet him for the first time, you are really struck by his height. He looks bigger than that.
Final seconds of this opening quarter. Zeraway shifts out to a flanker, and then the give is to Fuamatu Ma'afala. Chris Fuamatu Ma'afala from Utah sees action sparingly. He has only carried the ball 9 times all season, and he will be close to a first down at the end of this opening quarter. The Titans 7, the Steelers 3 will return to the Adelphia Coliseum in Nashville right after this message. And welcome back to Tennessee. We open the second quarter, 7-3 Titans. Pittsburgh 25 scrimmage plays to 7 for Tennessee that opening quarter, but the Titans struck on that 68-yard touchdown pass McNair to Kevin Dyson. It's fourth down and a yard
and
at the 34.
Jeff Fisher imploring the crowd to make some noise.
2 tight ends, Tuman and Cushing. That's Tuman falling down. And
I think that indecision was apparent, wasn't it?
No offside, timeout. The Steelers burning a timeout, whether they were trying to draw Tennessee offside or just the play was awry. He used a timeout, and now on comes Chris Brown to try for his second field goal of the game, 47 yards.
Playing for the hook again, and he doesn't get it.
Wide to the right, and that has been a problem all season for Chris Brown. Missed 4 in the tough loss at home to Baltimore earlier this year. Saturday, our college football lineup starts at 11 o'clock Eastern. Spencer Tillman and Tim Brando on College Football Today. Then at 11:30, it's the ultimate celebration of pride and tradition and the American spirit. The cadets and the midshipmen, Army Navy, live from Philadelphia. Later at 4:30 Eastern, Home Depot SEC football features Tennessee and Florida for the SEC championship. It's all here Saturday on CBS Sports. Eddie George, who has struggled all season with 1 rushing touchdown, 2.8 rushing average for this man who starts for the 89th consecutive time, more than any running back in the league. And he's had his share of injuries this year after toe surgery in the offseason.
It's just been just like a continual problem for Eddie. Now, the problems are not his alone. He's not been getting quality blocking up front. I think everyone who follows the Titans agrees with that. But boy, does this franchise need a breakout game sometime here from Eddie George.
Good prediction from McNair again. Finally throws and completes to Derek Mason to the Pittsburgh 35. And what protection from McNair, hanging in there to the last second and then finding the open receiver.
Earl Holmes, number 50, on the blitz. He fights through a block. He's picked up initially, and that's what allows the completion downfield. And by the time he gets in there, the damage has already been done. This was quality work up front, and it's Eddie George who picks up Earl Holmes and stops him long enough for this completion by McNair. And anybody who was thinking his thumb was going to be a problem, and that was a lot of people. So much for that, at least to this point.
5 for 6 now for him, and 134 yards, and there twisting down. Kendrell Bell, the rookie middle linebacker, takes down George for a loss back at the 40. Kendrell Bell, he's the talk of the league, this rookie. As you heard on the pregame show, the first Pittsburgh linebacker to start as a rookie since Jack Lambert 27 years ago, and he just gets better and better. They nicknamed him Contact because he likes to hit anything that moves. Second down 16. George on the draw and gets That's 6 yards back plus 1. Earl Holmes, the tackler. Let's go to Jim Nance. This update in New York.
All right, thank you, Dick. Right after a Lamar Smith touchdown for Miami, the very next play, Eric Moulds shakes free from Patrick Surtain. He's off and running 80 yards to match the uniform number and to tie the game at 7, matching Miami 7-7. Back to you.
Thanks, Jim. Eric Moulds up there in Buffalo doesn't get a lot of national publicity, but what a receiver he is. 3rd down here for Tennessee and 8 at the Steeler 33, and in the shotgun, McNair. Wycheck in motion. And movement, right tackle, Fred Miller pulled back before the snap.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 71, offense, 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
Fred Miller, one of the game's good guys, but over his career, he has had a problem with false starting. Of course, none more so than when he was with the St. Louis Rams and they played a game down here, and he had like 6 false starts in one game. Now, a little tough when you're the visiting guy. As the home guy, you shouldn't jump offside. And there he goes again. Fred, what are you doing? I mean, you can't even. Well, he's just trying to beat the defensive end.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 71, offense, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Now I feel guilty. I feel like I've jinxed Fred here talking about his false starts.
Got the daily double.
Well, he's looking at Jason Gilden, and he knows I've got to get off the ball in a hurry, but you're at home. You're not distracted. Focus in on your quarterback calling the cadence. You know, concentrate on that guy secondarily, your quarterback primarily.
Those 2 penalties take Tennessee out of field goal range, so McNair needs some yardage here.
And here comes Gilden.
Gets away from Gilden and throws incomplete for Derek Mason. Mike Logan covering, and on comes the punting team.
Well, those were 3 plays that Fred Miller would like to forget. 2 false starts, and then he gives a soft corner right here to Jason Gilden. You got to strike him. You have got to hit him. You've got to stop him from just getting that soft corner and pressuring around the. You know, Aaron Smith is in there late, but Jason Gilden took Fred Miller to school.
Hentrick in to punt, 2nd of the game. Hank Poteet back at the 10-yard line for Pittsburgh. That's one of those knuckleballs. And whoa, tough catch by Poteet at the 16-yard line. Whoa, looked like an outfielder that lost the ball in the sun.
Things impossible. And by Sun America, the retirement specialist.
And welcome back to Nashville, Tennessee, where the Titans lead the Steelers 7-3. 11 minutes, 43 seconds left in this opening half. Steelers, after the punt, start at their 16-yard line. And it's Bettis on 1st down. And 2 men required in blue to take Bettis to the turf after a gain of 4. For the best NFL coverage on the net, including expert analysis and live scoreboards, you can go to cbs.sportsline.com or AOL keyword CBS Sportsline. Well, Dan, the Steelers' best running team in the league, run usually 54-55% of the time, but today 11 runs, 15 passes.
Very much out of character for the Steelers.
And Bettis only 24 yards, the 2nd leading rusher in the league to Curtis Martin. Stewart almost intercepted. It was intended for Hines Ward, and 2 Titans had a hand on it. Eric Morris had the best chance, and then Andre Dyson behind him. Holding against the Titans will give Pittsburgh a 1st down.
I think what we're seeing, Dick, is a reaction by the Steelers to Tennessee.
Holding prior to the pass, number 21, defense, 5-yard penalty, automatic 1st down.
They get Samari Roll for the hold, but I think it's a reaction to the fact that Tennessee has 8 and sometimes 9 guys right up on the line of scrimmage. Well, that's a full-time grab against Plexico Burress by Samari Roll. Man, you can't make the jersey move. You can get your hands on him, but you can't make that jersey move one direction when the guy is moving the other direction. That's just too obvious for everybody to see.
That's right. Everyone here in the crowd can throw a flag on that one.
Yep.
25 yards.
Well, the Steelers dominating play first downs, yards, and play some scrimmage, but trailing Tennessee 7-3. Bettis gets through the first wave and out to about the 27-yard line, where Perry Phoenix and Javon Kearse collaborate on the tackle.
It's really Tennessee is so overloading the line of scrimmage, Dick. Just leave this here, but you can see here are the only 3 guys who are back. All 8 Tennessee players within the line of scrimmage anticipating the run here to Bettis. Now they get it, but I think that's helping to explain why Pittsburgh is throwing the ball so often. Awfully tough to run with 8 guys that close to the line of scrimmage.
Bettis said he expects it. He's seen it all year long. You got to wear him down. That's the theory for the Steelers. Long throw, incomplete. Intended for Ward on the far side. Now let's check on other NFL action to New York and Jim Nantz.
All right, Dick, you know, in recent weeks, the Seahawks have been coming on, but they're down quickly here, 10 at Kansas City. Short touchdown by Tony Richardson. Did he get across? It wasn't challenged. They say touchdown. 10-0 Chiefs. Let's go back to Dick and Dan.
All right, thanks, Jim. Of course, Dick Vermeil hungry along with Kansas City for a win.
You know, the Hines Ward, I think, has a completion here if he loses the ball in the sun. This ball is directly into the sun, and he loses it. He doesn't know where it is. He went over and gestured to the sideline. I lost it in the air.
3rd and 7. Blitz on. Throw to the sideline. Complete to Burris. Out of bounds with a first down at the 39-yard line in front of the rookie corner, Andre Dyson.
I think in this position, if the Steelers are to throw to that side of the field like they just did to Burris, make it a flatter throw. Make it a more, I don't know that they're going to be able to really put the ball up in the air on a long fade because of the fact that it's really tough to look back into the sun.
Jerome Bettis returns at tailback. Burris now and Hines each with 4 catches. Quick throw, incomplete. Intended for Ward. They're working on the young cornerback Andre Dyson, 2nd-round pick. He actually was the first pick of the Titans in this year's draft. Brother of Kevin, the wide receiver. They both played at the University of Utah.
Tennessee didn't have a number 1 this year because they traded it to the St. Louis Rams for Kevin Carter, number 93 there, starting defensive end. So young Mr. Andre was it. He was holding up a jersey that said number 1. That wasn't for number 1 draft choice. That's for the first pick in Tennessee's draft.
Yeah, 60th overall. 2nd and 10. Stewart dumps it to Bettis, gets a block, and then a good reaction. Henry Ford from a lateral move made the tackle. He has a motor, that defensive lineman, doesn't he? Well, tonight on the CBS Sunday Movie, they couldn't stand each other until they realized they were perfect for each other. Oscar winner Tom Hanks, Meg Ryan star in the blockbuster romantic comedy You've Got Mail, tonight after 60 Minutes, except on the West Coast.
And what type of a motor might Mr. Ford have?
Well, A, maybe Model A.
I hope he's got more than that.
Crowd picks up the noise on 3rd and long. Stewart throwing long. Ward can't get it, and a flag goes down late on Dyson.
Oh boy, was this a catchable ball? We'll see where this took place, this interference, but I think they got to talk about it. Oh, it's offensive interference. All right.
Pass interference. Number 86. Offense. Penalties declined. 4th down.
And we talked about Ward being physical. Tried to work his way clear.
Well, they got Hines Ward on the push off. And that's a, you know, cornerbacks will say that that's called so little, but they're appreciative when they get it. You know, the passing game, no doubt that it favors the offense. If you're a defensive player, you're always playing from behind the 8 ball, it seems.
Ever dangerous Derek Mason deep. Whoa, partially blocked. Miller's kick partially blocked, and it'll roll forward for the Steelers inside the 35 as Darryl Porter got his hands on it for Tennessee.
Look to the complete upper right of your screen. You're going to see the left hand of Daryl Porter come in there and hit the ball right off the toe of Josh Miller. Boy, that was really a superior effort on the part of Daryl Porter.
Steele is fortunate that the ball did roll forward 26 yards on the punt, and now Eddie George finding some room. And he has a first down, and the crowd loves that as George able to pick up sizable yardage.
And Eddie George burst has been seen so infrequently here in Nashville. The crowd really does love it. Boy, he gets a great kick-out block by Benji Olsen, and he breaks the tackle. And that's what, of course, has been the hallmark of Eddie George's career, is people being shed by those big legs of his. It just hasn't happened lately.
They give it to the Heisman Award winner 6 years ago again, and he's out to the 49-yard line. A gain of 5 more behind the block of Aaron Kinney. Bunny?
Well, Dick, we're seeing Eddie George, according to him, at 100% for the first time this year. He said he really underestimated how long it would take to rehab from that off-season toe surgery. He said, I was in camp, and I was really just learning how to use my foot again and how to cut, so I felt fresh when I got to the regular season. What I didn't have is that power that I'm used to having, that burst, and now he says he finally thinks he's got it back.
2 good runs here on this drive, Bonnie, for George. It's 2nd down and 5. There, out of the pocket. And he finally runs it to the sidelines, knocked out of bounds at the 50 by Aaron Smith.
Well, if Eddie George has his legs back under him, timing is everything, because at 4 and 5, the Tennessee Titans have no more margin of error. They've gone very public with it that if we expect to make the playoffs, we're going to have to run the table. And they can't do that without a healthy Eddie George. They cannot do it without Eddie George in the ground game, taking some pressure off Steve McNair. It just won't happen.
3rd down and 5. No gain on McNair's scramble. He's going long for Dyson. And the flag goes with it.
Oh, Chad Scott was all over him.
Scott, who was burned on that opening touchdown, lost a step and was trying to catch up.
Well, Scott's gesturing to Dyson, but Scott was grabbing him all over the place. He could have been called 2 or 3 separate times going down the field.
Number 30, defense. Automatic first down.
You're allowed some contact in that 5-yard area, but that's it. See, he doesn't get a jam. There's the first time. There's the second time. You just don't get that kind of a bump. You just don't get to make contact, especially if you're not playing the football. If you're both going up at the same time for the ball, maybe.
26 yards on the penalty. First down at the Steeler 25. Back to George. Cuts back. Inside the 20 to the 17-yard line. Joey Porter, the tackler. Well, Monday on CBS for years, Carol Burnett made us laugh. Now she'll join Harvey and Tim and Vicky. Brand new special with never-before-seen outtakes and plenty of surprises. Don't miss the Carol Burnett Show, Showstoppers on CBS. Laugh your head off Monday tomorrow.
If that wasn't one of the great ensemble casts assembled of all time, I don't know what was.
Yeah, my buddy Tim Conway and Harvey Korman, they're traveling all around the country, sell out houses. People still find them as clever as ever. George stacked up this time just inside the 25, takes the loss. Earl Holmes there to block the path. Eddie, who we were going to be in Philadelphia next Saturday, our privilege to call the Army-Navy game on CBS. And Eddie, growing up in the city of brotherly love, used to sell hot chocolate games there, the Army-Navy games. Part of his football upbringing. Going to West Point on Wednesday, Annapolis on Thursday. It's going to be a great week.
I don't think Eddie's going to have to sell any more hot chocolate.
Anywhere.
Oh, anyway.
Right. 3rd and 4, the toss to George, and he's going out there for Pittsburgh. And George all the way inside the 5 to the 2.
And listen to the crowd. This is the most noise they've made all day. Boy, they know how vital Eddie George is to this football team. Over his career, he has put this franchise on his shoulders before and carried it. Boy, that's just a wonderful play designed to get outside the Steelers. They were caught flat-footed. Now can we see some Eddie George power this close to the goal line?
So 44 yards now for George. A productive first half. It's first and goal at the 3. George outside, can't get loose. Kendrell Bell, that young linebacker, with another sure tackle.
Well, the Steelers released LaVon Kirkland in March, and they really took a gamble on Bell being able to step in and be a force in the middle. And I know Bill Cowher thought that the kid would end up being a player, but let's be serious. In his wildest dreams, I don't think he thought he could be as good as he is. To get this kind of production, this kind of quality play out of a rookie it's hard to come by.
You saw George come off for a breather, and Skip Hicks, number 42, ex-Redskin, is the tailback. Fake to him. McNair goes wide open. Touchdown, Frank Wycheck.
Bill Cowher's got to be thinking now, wait a minute. Skip Hicks come in. I don't think he's going to carry the football. So who's a threat on the goal line for any team in the league? The tight end, and of course Frank Wycheck, one of the best receiving tight ends ever. Somehow the Steelers completely lose track of Wycheck. How does that happen?
Leading receiver on the season, Wycheck, as he has been the last 5 years for Tennessee. It's his 3rd touchdown. And now the extra point try by Joe Nedney. 14-3, Tennessee. They go 67 yards in 8 plays.
The holiday season in New York is probably the nicest.
It's anywhere in America and around the world. Dial 1010-220.
The stingiest defense in the NFL. The Steelers abused a bit by McNair buying time with his legs, and finds Frank Wycheck wide open for the touchdown to cap that 67-yard drive, and a 14-3 lead. Pittsburgh on the season allowing only 11 points a game. But down 14-3 is Hank Poteet, and Troy Edwards back to receive the kickoff from Nedney. Ball falls off the tee.
No surprise you're 7-2 when you only give up 11 points a game. You'd think at 11 points a game they'd be 9-0. That's just that is a remarkably low point total.
Well, one of the losses was a 13-10 loss to Baltimore when Brown missed the 4 field goals, and then the opening game they lost at Jacksonville 21-3. That was their only really bad game of the year. From the 5, Troy Edwards. And flips a tackle and moves to the 29, where Joe Walker, special teams specialist.
Well, here's Frank Wycheck, Dick. He lines up over here. He's going to come across the field right about here. Lee Flowers, let's roll this tape. Lee Flowers is running with him, and you're going to watch Wycheck. He's going to throw out the air brakes right about there. Flowers doesn't. I don't know what Flowers. He kept on going. I guess he didn't realize that Frank threw out the brakes and stopped so abruptly. Flowers kept running, and that's how Wycheck got so wide open.
Stewart, with less than 4 minutes left in the half, comes out in a shotgun. 3 wide receivers. Bobby Shaw in motion. Just does get it off for Burris. And he has the catch at the Tennessee 37-yard line. Plexico Burris in front of Deron Jenkins, an extra defensive back.
See, that's a play where you give your athlete a chance to make a play. You throw it up there, and you just hope the talent prevails. And at 6'5.5", Plexico Burris goes up, out-jumps everybody else for the football. Jenkins got cleaned off by his own guy. And that's, you know, Dick, as we watch Tooman there get tackled, you know, more teams, I think, don't try to take advantage of a talent like that. That's great to see, because it's obvious that Burris and Cordell Stewart have bonded.
The payoff was 35 yards, and then on first down, the catch by Tooman, good for a couple.
And this is a no-huddle by the Steelers. Not necessarily a hurry-up, but it's a no-huddle.
Crowd savvy, so they make noise. Stewart
Wide open is Hines Ward, and he's to the 15-yard line in the grasp of Andre Dyson.
Cordell Stewart told us he loves this situation because he gets to call his own plays. They work this out in advance. We saw them use it against Baltimore, and it's an offense where you're keeping those 11 defenders on the field. You're not giving them a chance to substitute. Pittsburgh likes their matchups the way they've got them.
They got Burris left, and Ward to the right. Zeraway is the running back. He takes the handoff, and the former West Virginia star draws a crowd. Dyson and Ford with a stop, and the crowd quiets as the clock ticks down for the 2-minute warning.
And they were going to stay with the no huddle, but with the 2-minute warning getting so close, he got the signal, Cordell did, to come on over to the sideline. I like a no huddle offense. I think it really disarms the defense a little bit.
And Cordell would agree with that. 2 minutes left in the half. Tennessee with an 11-point advantage. Well, Elvis in the house, thanks to Jerry Glanville. Welcome back to Nashville, and congratulations again. You went back to Ann Arbor, and Bo Schembechler presented you in front of 111,000.
I haven't been back to a Michigan football game in a long time. It was quite a treat.
Yeah. Even though the Buckeyes made it a tough day for Wolverine fans.
It's still a spectacle. It's quite a sight. That stadium with all those people in it, it's like a small country.
2nd and 8 from the 13. Stewart trying to get the Steelers on the board, and he knifes that throw low to Ward, and Ward with a tough catch in front of Keith Bullock. It'll be 1st and goal for the Steelers.
Well, this Steeler passing game under offensive coordinator Mike Mularkey, it really is calling on Cordell Stewart to do things throwing the football that he's not done before. Throwing with a confidence, with a precision. We've talked before about he's got a quarterback coach now in Tom Clements, and this is just this new version of Cordell Stewart is a complete package.
So it's 1st and goal from the 3 with Bettis at fullback. He gets the call. Wiggles through a small hole down close to the 1-yard line, and the clock moving to the 1-minute mark here in the first half. Steelers trying to score 7 and pull within 4. Ball right on the goal line. Bettis on the season has scored 3 rushing touchdowns, and he's the obvious choice to get the handoff again.
Well, of course, Cordell is always a threat. Just to go ahead and sneak it with that ability he is.
Bettis. Dropped for a loss by Randall Godfrey. Godfrey, who said, my job is to stop the bus, and he got some help from Javon Curse.
Boy, you hate to see it right here for the Steelers, where Bettis takes the ball and has to go parallel to the line of scrimmage.
They're not calling time here.
But Javon Curse was so far into the backfield. Jerome Bettis, that play was DOA.
Carol Burnett, for years she made us laugh.
I saw it in the window and I just couldn't resist.
Second half of our CBS doubleheader. That's all coming up on the Nextel halftime report. Bill Cowher, this has been the one weakness of the Steelers in their 7-2 season, scoring touchdowns in the red zone.
Yeah, only, 7 touchdowns in well over 20 tries, 27 tries, and that's just that's a substandard result. Bo Schembechler used to say he wanted his backs to take the football with the long axis of their body perpendicular to the goal line, not going parallel to the goal line like Bettis was last time.
So it's 3rd and goal from the 4. Stewart throws, touchdown Burris. He was wide open. An easy catch.
Samari roll. If you want to use the word coverage to that side, that was his responsibility, and he just acted like it was someone else's. Here's Samari roll. You see him backing to the outside, inviting Burris to go to the inside. Well, some invitations you just don't pass up.
So Burris with his 2nd touchdown reception of the year. Brown adds the extra point. 72 yards and 8 plays for the Steelers. They're back within 4.
this month of November draws to a close and we start talking playoffs in December. Lots of important action in the Nextel halftime report. And those gentlemen will have all the highlights of the early action and a look ahead to the second half of our CBS doubleheader. Raiders, the best in the West in the AFC, go to Gotham against the Giants. Many of you will see that game. Stewart 5 for 5 on that drive, Dan. 71 of the yards through the air, and he is showing the league that he is much improved, and part of it may be that Tom Clements is his quarterback coach. They skid this one, and Frank Wycheck picks it off. No, it's Drew Bennett, and Bennett takes it out to the 48-yard line with 10 seconds left in the half. So chance for possibly one long pass and even a field goal for Tennessee.
Well, they had the right idea going with the knuckleball, trying to keep it away from Mason, and that was just a sensational play by Bennett. That thing was hot when he grabbed it out of the air and took off with it.
Talking about our CBS doubleheader, and here are the late games. Oakland at the Giants, and Baltimore visits Jacksonville.
I like that. Oakland is Gotham. It's like I'm watching Batman.
Oh, they got the Batman building here in Nashville. McNair over the middle, wide open. Trying to get out of bounds. Kenny Mason. Right at 0. He may not have made it.
Oh, I thought there was a second when he went out. Let's see. This was so close.
No. End of the
Oh, no.
And Tennessee had all 3 timeouts and could have tried a long field goal.
Oh, this is a nanosecond. All right, what? Now Mason looks like he's going to step right out. Right here, it looks like he's going to, but here he decides to get a few extra yards. See, he's out of bounds. There's time on the clock. There's time. There's a second left on the clock when he goes out of bounds.
Let's go down to Bonnie Bernstein.
All right, Cordell, you've thrown 10 more times than you've passed. You've passed 10 more times than you've thrown. By design today?
Yeah, I mean, we're just trying to take what we can, what the defense has given us, and we're having some opportunities. We're beating ourselves pretty much, but, you know, we're constantly working hard, and we wound up getting 7 points, which was very important for us, and now the score is 14-10.
Thanks, Cordell.
Very productive half for the quarterback of the Steelers, who trail the Tennessee Titans here in Nashville 14-10 at the half. Coming up, our Nextel halftime report from New York.
Monday, get ready to laugh your head off.
Bengals and the Browns. What's the story in this one, Randy?
Well, it's really kind of a two-headed monster. The first head of the monster would be Corey Dillon running the ball and doing it well. The second head of the monster would be John Kitna throwing the ball and not doing it well. The Cleveland defense, that's their 21st interception on the day, on the year. Tim Couch to Kevin Johnson, something Browns fans are really learning to love in Cleveland. Browns running back Benjamin Gay gave him the ball, goes left, and he fumbles. Neil Rackers has missed 2 field goals in this game. I say you cut him at halftime and you let Mike Brown, the owner, kick. He couldn't do any worse.
Wow. You know, the guy is he's only 9 out of 18 for the season, Neil Rackers. Just killing the Bengals.
A former kicker.
Seattle was down quickly here, 10-0. Hasselback, though, connects with Sean Alexander. Alexander's first touchdown reception of his career.
Is this a touchdown or not?
It was close.
It is now.
Look at this. The ball never crossed.
No.
Nobody called for a replay. Good.
Fired Mike up, though, didn't it?
And Hasselback, heck of a day. 10 out of 15 for 115 yards, 1 touchdown, big deal. No interceptions and only 1 sack.
You saw the touchdown pass to Alexander. Alexander's rush for only 22 yards.
But Priest Holmes is rushed for 72 yards.
All right, minute 19 to go in the first half, and the Dolphins lead up in Buffalo. Eric Moulds going deep on that vaunted Dolphin secondary.
Well, Jay Fiedler's seen 2 of his offensive linemen go down. Tim Ruddy, the center's gone. Mark Dixon went down during the game with a bad ankle. Here he scrambles down to the 1, and then Lamar Smith adds the first rushing touchdowns for the Dolphins, his first rushing touchdowns for the Dolphins in about a month. Wow. But Eric Moulds on a short, 10-yard little out pattern, breaks the tackle, and matches his jersey number, goes 80 yards.
That tied it at 7. Mare kicked the field goal, 10-7. Dolphins lead it right there with a minute 19 to go in the half. San Francisco, Indianapolis. This is a wild one. 49ers just added a field goal a moment ago from Cortez. Garcia to Stokes. Manning and Harrison really having one of those big days.
Well, Manning's winning on the stat sheet, Garcia on the scoreboard.
Yeah, Harrison 6 catches, over 100 yards and a touch. See, the Atlanta story here is Christian. He had a 53-yard run. Yep, he scored a touchdown, too.
He won the game last week in Green Bay.
How about this? Redskins looking for a 5th straight win.
Well, Whitting's out in that defensive line for Philadelphia, and the Redskins are running the ball at will right now on Philadelphia.
Steven Davis was out early, Randy, to amplify, and Kajana Carter scored the touchdown there for the Redskins. Coming up later today, doubleheader day here on CBS. Some of you are going to see the Ravens and the Jags, but most of you will watch the interconference clash between the Raiders and Giants. For more on that matchup, let's go across the Hudson to the men who will call the action, Greg Gumbel and Phil Simms.
All right, Jim, thank you. Welcome to the Meadowlands, everyone, where today the New York Giants have quite a task ahead of them. Take a look at the standings in the NFC East. They're running a game and a half behind the Eagles in the division, and their task is much the same as Denver's on Thanksgiving Day. They come in at 5-5. They can't afford to lose another game, at least not at this juncture. Jim Fossil says, I don't know what's wrong other than we work hard, we play hard, but we do make some stupid mistakes during the game, and they can't afford that today against the Raiders.
Yeah, what a way to try to get well for the New York Giants, to play the Oakland Raiders. And John Ritchie, I think he said it best, the fullback for the Oakland Raiders. He says, hey, when I get in the huddle, look who I get in there with. Maybe the best quarterback in football, and 2 surefire Hall of Famers. You take those guys, 5 running backs for the Raiders who have been productive this year. The Giants defense and their team, they have a tough task ahead.
The Giants need a win. The Raiders probably won't have a whole lot of sympathy. That's later on today. Jim?
All right, thank you, fellas. The Raiders lead the league in fewest turnovers committed. They've already won a big road game out east. They beat the Eagles earlier this year.
And the reason the way they did it was running the ball, being physical, and getting turnovers. Phil's absolutely right. The Giants defense is a big task. Get some turnovers, it gets a lot easier.
And how about Greg? He said they've been making dumb mistakes. How about if you're supposed to be covering deep and you're blitzing Jason Sehorn? That's how you lose football games.
Sehorn struggled big time on Monday night. Okay, most of you will see that, the Raiders and the Giants. Later on, some will get the Ravens against the Jags. We're going to send you back out to the second half, some for Tennessee, some out in Kansas City. Thanks for being with us on the Nextel Halftime Report.
CBS Sports presents the Nextel Direct Connect Halftime Report. Nextel, get right through.
They couldn't get off.
Bengals and the Browns. What's the story in this one, Randy?
Well, it's really kind of a 2-headed monster. The first head of the monster would be Corey Dillon running the ball and doing it well. The second head of the monster would be John Kitna throwing the ball and not doing it well. The Cleveland defense, that's their 21st interception on the day, on the year. Tim Couch to Kevin Johnson, something Browns fans are really learning to love in Cleveland. Browns running back Benjamin Gay gave him the ball, goes left, and he fumbled. Neil Rackers has missed 2 field goals in this game. I say you cut him at halftime, and you let Mike Brown, the owner, kick. He couldn't do any worse.
Wow. You know, the guy is he's only 9 out of 18 for the season, Neil Rackers. Just killing the Bengals.
A former kicker.
Seattle was down quickly here, 10-0. Hasselback, though, connects with Sean Alexander. Alexander's first touchdown reception of his career.
Is this a touchdown or not?
It was close.
It is now.
Look at this. The ball never crossed. No. Nobody called for a replay. Good.
Fired Mike up, though, didn't it?
And Hasselback, heck of a day. 10 out of 15 for 115 yards, 1 touchdown, big deal. No interceptions and only 1 sack.
You saw the touchdown pass to Alexander. Alexander's rush for only 22 yards.
But Priest Holmes, he rushed for 72 yards.
All right, minute 19 to go in the first half, and the Dolphins lead up in Buffalo. Eric Moulds going deep on that vaunted Dolphin secondary.
Well, Jay Fiedler's seen 2 of his offensive linemen go down. Tim Ruddy, the center's gone. Mark Dixon went down during the game with a bad ankle. Here he scrambles down to the 1, and then Lamar Smith adds the first rushing touchdowns for the Dolphins, his first rushing touchdown for the Dolphins in about a month. Wow. But Eric Moulds on a short 10-yard little out pattern, breaks the tackle, and matches his jersey number, goes 80 yards.
That tied it at 7. Mare kicked the field goal, 10-7. Dolphins lead it right there with a minute 19 to go in the half. San Francisco, Indianapolis. This is a wild one. 49ers just added a field goal a moment ago from Cortez. Garcia to Stokes. Manning and Harrison really having one of those big days.
Well, Manning's winning on the stat sheet, Garcia on the scoreboard.
Yeah, Harrison 6 catches, over 100 yards and a touch. See, the Atlanta story here is Christian. He had a 53-yard run. Yep, He scored a touchdown, too.
He won the game last week in Green Bay.
How about this? Redskins looking for a 5th straight win. Well, Whitting's out in that defensive line for Philadelphia, and the Redskins are running the ball at will right now on Philadelphia. Stephen Davis was out early, Randy, to amplify, and Tajana Carter scored the touchdown there for the Redskins. Coming up later today, doubleheader day here on CBS. Some of you are going to see the Ravens and the Jags, but most of you will watch the interconference clash between the Raiders and Giants. For more on that matchup, let's go across the Hudson to the men who will call the action, Greg Gumbel and Phil Simms.
All right, Jim, thank you. Welcome to the Meadowlands, everyone, where today the New York Giants have quite a task ahead of them. Take a look at the standings in the NFC East. They're running a game and a half behind the Eagles in the division, and their task is much the same as Denver's on Thanksgiving Day. They come in at 5-5. They can't afford to lose another game, at least not at this juncture. Jim Fossil says, I don't know what's wrong other than we work hard, we play hard, but we do make some stupid mistakes during the game, and they can't afford that today against the Raiders.
Yeah, what a way to try to get well for the New York Giants to play the Oakland Raiders. And John Ritchie, I think he said it best, the fullback for the Oakland Raiders. He says, hey, when I get in the huddle, look who I get in there with. Maybe the best quarterback in football and 2 surefire Hall of Famers. You take those guys, 5 running backs for the Raiders who have been productive this year. The Giants defense and their team, they have a tough task ahead.
The Giants need a win. The Raiders probably won't have a whole lot of sympathy. That's later on today. Jim?
All right, thank you, fellas. The Raiders lead the league in fewest turnovers committed. They've already won a big road game out east. They beat the Eagles earlier this year.
And the reason the way they did it was running the ball, being physical, and getting turnovers. Phil's absolutely right. The Giants defense is a big task. Get some turnovers, it gets a lot easier.
And how about Greg? He said they've been making dumb mistakes. How about if you're supposed to be covering deep and you're blitzing Jason Sehorn? That's how you lose football games.
Sehorn struggled big time on Monday night. Okay, most of you will see that, the Raiders and the Giants. Later on, some will get the Ravens against the Jags. We're going to send you back out to the second half, some for Tennessee, some out in Kansas City. Thanks for being with us on the Nextel Halftime Report.
CBS Sports presents the Nextel Direct Connect Halftime Report. Nextel, get right through.
They couldn't stand each other until they realized they were perfect for each other. Tom Hanks, Meg Ryan, You've Got Mail. CBS tonight at a special time.
Attorney Nick Fallon was sentenced to community service
My son was arrested.
Tuesday to defend his newest client.
They gonna let me out?
He'll go head-to-head
What do you want?
I need to put someone in prison with the prosecutor who tried to put him away.
Startled you? Or was that one of those drug flashbacks? She'd like to take a shot at me, then step up and take your shot.
All new Guardian, CBS Tuesday.
Come on, guys.
This is Dwayne Washington of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
This is my favorite painting of them all.
Dwayne helps the United Way build stronger communities by supporting after-school programs for kids.
Based on traditional thinking, he was considered a surrealist. Abstract thinking, yet classical form, was how the French interpreted the movement.
That looks like spaghetti.
Spaghetti.
That's why I'm easy. I'm easy like Sunday morning, yeah. Oh, I'm easy like Sunday morning. I wanna be high, so
CBS Sports presents the Nextel Direct Connect Halftime Report. Nextel, get right through.
Getting ready for the second half. 2 Steve McNair touchdown passes have the Titans in front of the Steelers 14-10. And CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League continues after this word from your local station. Back in Nashville, Tennessee will get the ball to start this second half, leading by 4. And while McNair had the 2 touchdown passes, I thought key to the Titans was the fact that Eddie George had a couple of sizable runs.
Yes, he did. And boy, have they needed that. Conversely, really kudos to the Tennessee defense for the way they're controlling Jerome Bettis. He is really, he's got 26 yards rushing at halftime, 38 as a team total. And it has been Cordell Stewart, his arm, that has been moving the ball for Pittsburgh. So I think maybe we've seen Tennessee do on the one hand what they wanted to do, but on the other hand, Cordell Stewart is pretty much having his way throwing the ball.
Just underline the fact that they're stopping Tennessee, the top rushing team in the league, averaging 181 yards a game. Underway second half, and a booming kick by Brown that'll go to a touchback as Derek Mason fields it deep in the end zone, and we go down to Bonnie Bernstein.
Well, Dick, Jeff Fisher said the biggest difference between this game and the Monday night debacle in Pittsburgh back in October, he said, our teams have opportunities, and we've actually done something about it. Very happy with the way McNair is playing and the protection he's getting. He says Eddie George looks strong. He said the difference in the second half will be turnovers. In the first half, my defensive guys got our hands on 4 or 5 balls. Now we have to make good on it.
All right, thanks, Bonnie. And those are the words of Fisher. He called it a debacle in Pittsburgh.
He was right.
Nothing went right.
34-7 is a debacle.
Eddie George gets the call, and Kendrell Bell has him at the 21-yard line after a gain of 1. Bell playing great football for the Steelers. And switching gears here a bit, there's Trent Fisher. That's Coach Jeff Fisher's 9-year-old son. He has won the regional competition, 9-year-old, in punt, pass, and kick. And so I guess he goes now on to the finals of the 9-year-old. So it's already a big day for the Fishers. 2nd and 9. McNair taking the screen and throws a wide check. Dragged down at the 25-yard line. Boy, that was a big tackle by Earl Holmes. If he doesn't get Whitecheck, that's going to gain another 10, 15 yards.
Well, that's Earl's responsibility to sit there and police the middle. He took over for Levon Kirkland, calling all of the you see him looking to the sideline to get the call. So he's got to run the huddle, and those are big shoes that he's filling, those of Levon Kirkland. But you're right, he just sits in that short hook zone right there. He saw Whitecheck coming across and made the play. One of the just another outstanding middle linebacker for the Pittsburgh Steelers, Earl Holmes.
On 3rd and 5. McNair to the side, incomplete to Kevin Dyson, and a good defensive play. Chad Scott got a hand in there to knock it out.
Well, Pittsburgh forces a 3-and-out. Chad Scott, we saw him get victimized by Dyson on that long post pattern in the middle. The first offensive play of the game for Tennessee. That time he got in, broke it up, and this is a good start for the Steelers on D.
Craig Hendrick, first time he's punted where he can really use the entire field. Hank Poteet back for the Steelers. Wobbler, Poteet at the 31. Sidestep one defender and then tackled at the 35 by Eric Morris. 44 yards on the punt, 5 on the return. Steelers get their chance now in the second half.
Point, shoot, create. The HP Digital Photo Studio, featuring the Pavilion 7975 with the Intel Pentium 4 processor. How will you use it? Save up to $250 by mail on HP digital photography products.
Inevitably, there will come a time in your life when you realize you need a cell phone. And when that time comes, we'll be here.
Introducing new Castrol AccuVision Rain Repellent. Unlike Rain-X, AccuVision can go on in just 1 minute, so you can easily apply it whenever it's convenient. New Castrol AccuVision, the 1-minute rain repellent.
A great American tradition. The Army-Navy game on CBS.
This telecast is copyrighted by the NFL for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or of any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the NFL's consent is prohibited.
Remember, folks, this is how we left you at the end of the first half with Derek Mason stepping out of bounds at the 28 right there with 1 second left. It was explained to us that when it comes to timing, it's up to the official on the field.
Has the game, but then fumbles. No signal yet at the 49-yard line of the Titans as Randall Godfrey was the Titan tackler ripping the ball away from Bettis.
Oh, and Pittsburgh has retained possession. Somebody at the bottom of that pile came up with the football. Let's look at it again right here. It's a direct snap off to the side to Hines Ward. He hands it on a trap to Jerome. How close was his knee to being down when the ball comes out? Well, his body screens it, but nobody from Pittsburgh was arguing, so it must have been a clear fumble.
How did the Steelers ever get it? There were 4 blue jerseys there.
Oh, yeah, the ball came out way before Jerome Bettis was down. Boy, right off the bat, looked like it was a Tennessee ball, but somebody from Pittsburgh got it back.
Bettis' longest run, 13 yards. Stewart scrambling, got room, 40, 30, McLaughlin in front, Cordell Stewart, touchdown, oh my! 48 yards on the scramble.
That's the 4th time this year that Cordell Stewart's run for a touchdown. Wow, how about that? And it's really the first time he's really stretched his legs today. The inside of the Tennessee pass rush all goes upfield. Nobody's got spy responsibilities in the middle. And I guess you could say here, Dick, that Cordell Stewart lulled Tennessee to sleep by throwing the ball so effectively that they didn't really put the normal spy on it.
Gained more yards in 1 run than the Steelers rushed for the entire first half. Pittsburgh back in front.
So warm. So ancient. So free. And so close. Come and discover a world of possibilities. Mexico, closer than ever.
That was fun. Hey, would you be my big, strong watchdog and guard my Bud Light for like this to the ladies? Hey, let's touch it. Hey, go. Oh, you got moves. You got moves. Stop. Go.
With a great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down. Make it a Bud Light.
It ain't that bad.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by American Express, wishing you all the best this holiday season. IBM, taking e-business and your business to the next level. And by Best Buy. For the latest technology, turn on Best Buy.
Little extra stretching for defensive ace Javon Kearse as Brown kicks it off, and it's deep again to Mason, who will not have an opportunity to return. That 48-yard touchdown run by Cordell Stewart, not his longest ever. He has the NFL record for a quarterback, 80 yards, but it equals the longest by a Steeler, 48 yards, Jerome Bettis against Cincinnati earlier this year.
And Tennessee was guilty defensively of treating Cordell Stewart like a conventional passing quarterback, and that's what he was in the first half. You can see Javon Kearse is having some lower back problem. It really pains him to straighten up and walk, and that when you're getting stretched like that, where they tuck that one leg up and really trying to loosen him up in the lower back, doesn't look like it's working all that well.
17-14. Titans now trail and start at the 20-yard line. How critical that fumble recovery was by Steelers on that last drive. McNair underneath, complete to Mason. He loses the ball but was down by contact. Jason Gilden, the tackler.
We're going to look at that fumble one more time by Jerome Bettis. And you're going to see it gets, boy, it just gets hammered out right there. And look at the Tennessee people around it. But watch from the right. There comes Jerome Bettis. You can see the ball under the legs, and it's actually Jerome who gets his own fumble back. And geez, he was a good 2 yards away from a loose football with Tennessee people all around it, and through good hustle and obviously strong hands, he gets it back.
And the next play, Cordell Stewart scores.
How big was that?
7 points big. And now McNair. Over the middle and wide open is George, and he's tackled at the 35. First down, Tennessee. Dwayne Washington, the tackler, and Saturday here on CBS, it's all grit and all glory. The ultimate celebration of pride, tradition, the American spirit. Army Navy live from Philadelphia right here on CBS Sports. It'll all begin. Tim Brando and Spencer Tillman on College Football Today at 11 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock for those of you out in the West. First down, George. All the way to midfield. A gain of 15 before Brett Alexander can get him down.
Well, this is Eddie George. The burst appears to be back, and so does some of the power, because he's showing a little of both on this run. Gets a block by Wycheck, but look at them. Lower the shoulder, go ahead and take on blocks. The good speed and going down and getting a couple extra yards. That's vintage Eddie George. That's the guy we used to know, and maybe he's back.
59 yards for him today. He hasn't had a 100-yard game this year. And the first sack, no, McNair gets away. And again, and then incomplete to George. But even had he caught it, it probably would have been a loss. Gilden missed his opportunity at the sack. He was the first Steeler in, and then Lee Flowers also couldn't sack McNair.
Well, this is not the first time that Steve McNair has pulled away from a potential sacker. Gilden, I'm sure, can't believe it. I mean, Jason Gilden, an accomplished pass rusher, but Steve McNair is so strong in the legs, so aware of the people coming at him from different directions. Tough guy to get out.
Yeah, a normal quarterback would have been down 15, 20-yard loss. Instead, he saves those yards. It's 2nd and 10. Good protection this time, and open is Dyson. He's hit at the 40. That's going to be right at the yardstick. Chad Scott getting some help from...
Dyson gives up a little yardage here to try to make a play, working against Chad Scott. He's got the first down, but then he gives up a little trying to find some yardage and actually works themselves into his 3rd and short.
It was Mike Jones who assisted Scott on that last tackle. If the Tennessee Titans get the first down, and we make that point, Jones 51 in the game, because remember, it was his tackle in the Super Bowl on the very last play of the game, denying the Tennessee Titans and Dyson a possible chance in overtime.
In St. Louis, it's just referred to as the tackle.
The tackle.
Yes. Try as he might, Dyson could not stretch and get that ball to the end zone, and it forever made Mike Jones, of course, who was a star at Missouri, a real part of St. Louis folklore.
Fake, and then McNair throws to Wycheck, complete, and it's another first down inside the 30. And McNair hit as he threw the ball, and he was twisting back to make the throw, so in a very compromising position.
Well, you can see Steve getting up, limping. As a quarterback, you know they're coming, and he gets caught. One buddy, Joey Porter is low from behind, Jason Gilden up high, and you could see that McNair got caught in a very awkward spot. When you can't get your legs out from underneath you, that's when you can really get hurt.
200 yards passing now for McNair. He's missed only 4 throws. George hit in the backfield and stopped at the 31, and Kendrell Bell. When we first talked to Bill Cowher earlier in the season about this rookie from Georgia, his adjective for him was sudden. I've never seen a linebacker so sudden.
He has been, And we saw, you know, in the pregame show, Leslie Visser did that piece on the defense, and Lee Flowers was saying, you know, he doesn't have any idea what he's doing out there. Well, I think maybe that's a little bit of an undersell. I think he does know what he's doing, and he's doing it awfully well.
7 sacks for Bell, a Steeler rookie record. McNair going deep this time for Mason. Covered by Dwayne Washington, incomplete. So that'll bring up 3rd down and 13 for Tennessee.
Can this really be late November, Dick?
This is short sleeve
Now,
weather.
you live in San Diego. You must think you're doing this in your backyard.
This would be a typical Southern California San Diego day.
It is in the mid-60s here in Nashville. It is not a cloud in the sky, and that gentleman in shirt sleeves is more than comfortable. Of course, he's got a built-in armrest.
There are some advantages to that, aren't there? 3rd and 13. McNair fires. Incomplete. It was Drew Bennett downfield and Mason in the short route. And McNair split the 2. So on comes the field goal try by Joe Nedney to tie the game. Just under 8 minutes left here in the 3rd quarter. This one will be from about 45, 46 yards. Now it's going to be longer than that. It's going to be just inside the 40, so almost 50 yards on the attempt by Nedney. He's hit one from 51 this year. Tie game. Oh, what a kick. Joe Nedney ties it at 17.
The holiday season in New York is probably the nicest time of the year.
Robots are hot this year. Dolls are hot. There's 27,000 lights that will go on this tree.
We have carrot cake, truffle, Isabella, soccer tart, Bosco tart, raspberry tart,
Twink, Stubby, Cupid, New House.
It's the most glamorous city in the world.
Look at this workmanship. Could make a lot of lira selling these in New York.
Yeah, look at these prices. These guys don't know what they got.
They're clueless. Try asking the old guy if he can handle a production of 10,000 of these.
No problem, Senora.
What's it say? They have 2 million units warehoused in New Jersey. New Jersey?
New Jersey.
New Jersey.
The right infrastructure can take your business anywhere, even New Jersey.
Bye-bye.
Okay, class. Today, we're going to work on handwriting. Now, try to make it very neat like I did. That's good, that's good. All you have to do is follow the curves on the board. Very nice. Okay, tomorrow, we're going to put my cards in the envelope.
Trying to save a little time this holiday season? Then come to Best Buy, where you'll find gifts for everyone on your list, all in one place. Best Buy. This holiday, turn on the fun.
Access NFL.com now on America Online. Get live game day coverage and real-time stats at AOL keyword NFL.com.
It is here that you will witness a tradition unlike any other. The Masters on CBS Sports.
This is a field goal kicker's favorite television shot. Spinning one over the crossbar. He had a couple of yards, and Jeff Fisher sees his team tied up at 17 and has to think back that had they had that 1 second at the end of the half, that field goal attempt there would have been shorter than the one Nedney just kicked. Here comes Troy Edwards with Pittsburgh. He's got some running room. The kicker to beat Nedney. Can't get him. Now Chase eludes the tackler and out of bounds. Saving the touchdown was Michael Booker, number 33. Edwards, who ran one back 41 yards in the first half, the longest by a Steeler all season, and now adds to that with a significant kick return.
Well, this crowd thinks the kickoff returns are just swell as long as it's Derek Mason who's doing the returning. They weren't looking for a little turnabout being fair play here by Troy Edwards, and it is a touchdown for sure if it's not for Michael Booker hustling all the way across the field. He had to contain on the far side. That guy ran 100 yards to make that play.
81-yard return by Edwards. Ooh, Bettis. Stop hold as Greg Favors down low to finish the job.
Well, they're trying to run a tackle trap with Wayne Gandy coming all the way across. Watch him 72 there. And Favors just knifes in to the point where Gandy has no chance of getting to him before he hits the bus. And right about now, I would suspect that Jerome Bettis starting to get a little frustrated at his lack of running room.
Kevin Carter and Jason Fisk were the big beef that blocked the hole, and then Favors made the tackle. 2nd and 13. Stewart down the middle. Incomplete to the tight end, Jeremy Tooman. But Stewart under pressure as he fired. Bonnie, what do you have for us?
Well, Dick, I don't know if you've noticed Javon Curse is not on the field. They said he's got back pain, and they're saying right now he's probable to return, but the entire Titans' last offensive possession he spent on the bike, I've watched him walk. He's limping really badly, and if he can get back in there and perform effectively, it'll be a pretty gutty performance by Javon Curse.
All right, Bonnie, yes, we did see him stretching that back and working it out. From the 20-yard line, 3rd down, 13. The throw to the end zone to Ward, incomplete. Hines Ward, I thought I heard a whistle.
Yeah, you did.
And a flag is down.
You did. This play never happened.
Prior to the snap, false start, right guard, offense, 5-yard penalty.
Actually, that becomes a break for the Steelers because it would have been 4th down and a field goal opportunity. Now they have a shot to go for the touchdown.
Take a look in there at the right guard right here. That's Roger Duffy. Does he snap? Whoa, that was a false start. That was with a small F. He must have coughed.
Lowercase FS, huh?
I'm telling you, he must.
The timer put 6:49 on the game clock. 6:49. 49 on the game clock.
So we're going to be here an extra 4 seconds today. There you go. And now this crowd is going to crank it up.
3rd and 18 from the 25. Ward in motion, joins Stewart in the backfield. There's a quick toss to Zeraway with blockers. He's at the 15, the 10, 5, touchdown! Amos Zeraway, his first rushing touchdown for the Steelers.
And at the end of that play, there were 5 or 6 Tennessee Titans on the ground. I thought when they threw this initially that this was going to go for 7 or 8 yards. What a job of blocking by the guys out front. And we still have a Tennessee player down here, Dick. But what a run by Amos Zeraway. What a burst.
Well, you see Bettis with his nifty moves, but the power, not the speed. And all of a sudden, as the counter attack, you come in with a Zeraway so quick with his cuts.
Well, the first thing is they get a blitz to that side. So that opens it up right away. There you see Faneca out in front. Jeff Harding's the center, made a good block back to the inside. But the rest of this is Zeraway's niftiness. And I don't know if the secondary for Tennessee was used to going after Jerome Bettis, because it all looked like they mistimed their tackles on Zeraway. They were leaving their feet a little too late to make the play. He was by them before they knew it.
Boy, this game has featured some big plays. The opening play by Tennessee, a 68-yard touchdown pass, McNair to Dyson. We have a kickoff return by Edwards, 81 yards to set up this 25-yard touchdown. Stewart to Zeraway. As they continue to work on the injured Titan, his number is shielded from our view.
And we don't want to guess.
Deron
there
Jenkins.
We go. Okay.
He took a blindside block.
Well, the thing about Zeraway, you know, he's missed some games. He's really been hampered this year because of a bad shoulder. Sure looks healthy there. Right there, there's Jenkins, number 25. Oh, yeah, you see he gets his foot stepped on and his ankle twisted. He gets it caught up with his own teammate. I think Perry Phoenix out in front of him.
Bobby Shaw was the blocker as Zeraway receiving congratulations on the Steelers sideline. This has been a big quarter for the Steelers all season long, the third. And they have 14 points today and reclaim the lead, 24-17. 17.
In a world of uncertainty, there will always be a need for those proud few who can prove they are a world apart. Maybe you can be one of us, the few, the proud, the Marines.
Sonic Shaving Max, the world's fastest shaver. Dry or wet? 3 times faster than the leading brand. And it makes a great gift, too. What are you waiting for? Just try our shaver already.
Is your dandruff sending the wrong signals?
No.
Get Selsun Power. Doctors recommend Selsun Blue. Man, that is awesome. Get Selsun Power.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the United States Marine Corps. For 226 years of faithful service, thank you, Marines. Happy birthday. And by the Mitsubishi Eclipse. It's impossible to sneak around in. Are you in?
Working on the right ankle of Deron Jenkins.
Yes. I couldn't tell if he got it twisted. He got it caught up there under his own teammate.
Kicked off down to Derek Mason. Gets the return this one. Ever dangerous. And he looks for a seam. And finally brought down at the 27-yard line by John Fiala, number 57 of the Steelers. Well, it's not often that a Steeler would be praised for a false start. But Roger Duffy, you know, that false start actually gave the Steelers at least 4 more points, because otherwise the incomplete pass would have brought the field goal unit on for Pittsburgh.
Well, Roger Duffy's a backup guard. Kendrick Vincent, number 68, has been playing most of the game at right guard. I know I ID'd Duffy when I did that quick replay. I think it was actually Vincent who was in there at right guard. So one of the 2 of them was a hero. They've been shuffling in and out of there. That's an unlikely way to get to that point.
Quick pass complete to Kevin Dyson. And Dyson on the quick hitter, tackled by Bell, has a first down for Tennessee. And this has been really an offensive game. We expected this to be tightly played defense, both with great defensive records, and it's been wide open.
Yes, it has. This is not customary to see this many big plays in a Tennessee-Pittsburgh ball game. This is a close to the vest rivalry, and they're a little out of. This is like an old AFL game we got going on here now.
That's right. 6 minutes to go in the third quarter. McNair sets, throws, incomplete. Looking for his tight end Aaron Kenny on the far side, covered by Lee Flowers. Tonight on CBS, well, they couldn't stand each other, and then they realized they were perfect for each other. What a cast. Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan. That's good enough. It's an outstanding romantic comedy. You'll enjoy it. You've got mail tonight after 60 minutes, except on the West Coast. Bill Cowher and Jeff Fisher, 2 of the most popular coaches, not only with players, but with the media. And there's a fumble by George. He's able to cover it, and that continues a ugly pattern for Eddie George, usually sure-handed, and he's had a series of fumbles here recently.
Well, Steve McNair had to reach way too far to get that ball into the midsection of Eddie George. Either McNair did not take the proper angle, but from that look at it, it looks like Eddie George was way too far, his angle away from the quarterback. The quarterback should not have to lunge to make that handoff.
A loss of 2 on the play, 3rd and a dozen inside the Tennessee 40. Here comes the blitz. And down goes McNair for the first time today. Mike Logan, the backup safety, with his second sack of the year. It's the 40th sack for this Pittsburgh defense.
Well, the defensive end crashes to the inside. He takes two guys with him, and that just allows Mike Logan to come in uncontested and untouched. And Steve McNair really has no chance whatsoever. The play's unfolding, and he doesn't even get to look at it because he sees an untouched blitzer.
So the 40th sack of the year, that's more than the Steelers logged last year or the year before when they had 39. They lead the league. Craig Hendrick booms a high kick to Hank Poteet. And he's smothered at the 25-yard line. The wave led by Greg Favors. Timeout, 4:37 left in the third period. Tonight on 60 Minutes, you're going to meet an artist who has sold more canvases than Rembrandt, Gauguin, Monet, Manet, Renoir, Van Gogh combined. That's why he's on 60 Minutes tonight, Thomas Kincaid. From the 25, the Steelers leading by 7. Stewart firing long and over the head of Hines Ward. Henry Ford put the pressure on Stewart on that occasion.
Yeah, one more time, we've seen Cordell take his share of heavy hits back in the pocket. You see right there at the last minute, he gets popped pretty good by Henry Ford.
Ford playing because Javon Curse on the sidelines, the star pass rusher for the Titans.
Well, we saw the very first series of the game. Curse got up limping and really favoring that back of his. And
big loss. 8 hurries for Stewart. Raw, Bettis, rumbling, first down and more. Eric Morris and Greg Favors finally get the bus to the turf after a 16-yard pickup.
Boy, this is one of the rare opportunities that Jerome Bettis has gotten loose in the secondary. Got a key block up there from Alan Faneca. And that is just what Perry Phoenix didn't want to see. 255 pounds coming right at you. It's the mistake a lot of guys make in trying to tackle Jerome Bettis. They go too low, and then they find out that he's a little niftier than they thought, and they end up with a whiff.
First down at the 41, and Bettis doesn't get it out of first gear. The bus is tough when he gets it in overdrive, but the Titans for most of this day have kept him in a low gear, and Favors makes the tackle again. Played his college ball at Mississippi State, one of those many high school athletes, quarterbacks that become outstanding NFL linebackers.
Well, he's been knifing off that edge, and he's been beating a lot of times an offensive lineman trying to come around or a lead back. He's shaving it so close. He's a real problem for the Steelers to this point.
On second 11, Stewart rolls, throws, and a tumbling catch by Burris for short yardage out around the 45-yard line. Well, it's the NFL season moving toward its climactic month, and Saturday college basketball will have a split national coverage of Kansas against the surprising Arizona Wildcats or Boston College and the Michigan Wolverines. Check your local listing. For more, go to cbs.sportsline.com. AOL keyword CBS Sportsline.
Well, with Javon Curse out of the ball game, Kevin Carter is a guy that Tennessee's got to rely on. They traded a #1 draft choice for this guy. He's at the far side of the down lineman. Can he make some noise?
On third down, the throw underneath is complete to Troy Edwards. And Edwards has a first down to the 43 of the Titans. Perry Phoenix finally with the tackle.
Well, again, a good strong throw from Cordell Stewart. A very uncomplicated route, but you got to make the tackle. You just got to come up and make the tackle. You can't be that nonchalant about it. Jenkins, if you're going to play off the guy and allow him to catch it, the whole premise of that defense is you got to be a sure tackler, not just wave at him as he goes by.
First catch today for Edwards. He had 10 coming in. Off play action. Stewart on the run. Beautiful throw, and it's complete to Burris again. And Burris out of bounds inside the 25. in front of Samari Roll. What a throw on the run.
For those of you that haven't seen Cordell play in a while, this must be coming as quite a shock. This is a guy that has found some confidence throwing the football. Here's Kevin Carter. We'll get a good look at the guy that Tennessee has really counted on. He's being ridden to the inside by Jeremy Tooman, the tight end.
Leading 24-17, and the Steelers driving deeper into Tennessee territory. Now it's Bettis trying to get outside and picks up about 3 before Andre Dyson can make the stop from his cornerback spot, and a late flag goes down. In the secondary of the Titans. Holding Steelers.
The Tennessee defense, Dick, is starting to show a little wear and tear. They look tired.
Holding. Number 86. Offense. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first out.
Hines Ward, who does a lot of great blocking downfield, but he's been ticketed for holding throughout the course of the year, and Bill Cowher will take that risk because he does so many good things. A lot of the long Bettis runs are credited to Ward taking care of a strong safety when they have 8 men in the box.
Well, I'm watching Javon Curse walk around down here on the sideline. He's got his helmet on. He wants to go. He just keeps clutching at his lower back. They need him in this ball game.
First down and 20 as the Steelers with a big second half. Bettis draw. And Eddie Robinson first to make contact. Henry Ford finishes him off at the 30-yard line, a gain of close to 5. Read NFL.com for in-depth analysis from Marv Levy, Vic Carucci, and Phil Simms. Get the inside scoop all week long. All you do is dial in NFL.com or AOL keyword NFL.com. It's beautiful Sunday afternoon in the Mid-South as the Steelers break huddle with the ball just inside the Tennessee 31. Final seconds, third quarter. Pittsburgh by 7. Comes the blitz. Stewart fires. Complete again. It's Hines Ward breaking a tackle inside the 20. He's tackled shy of the first down by Andre Dyson. It'll be about 4 yards short. And the final seconds are gone here in the third quarter with the Pittsburgh Steelers leading the Tennessee Titans 24-17. We'll return to Nashville after a word from your local station. We start the fourth quarter. Dick Enberg, Dan Deerdorf, Bonnie Bernstein, producer Lance Farrell, Mike Arnold, our director from Nashville. It's third down and 4. The Steelers ball at the 19 of the Titans. Amos Zaraway in the backfield with Stewart. Big toss to Zaraway, and Stewart in trouble. Throws it up for grabs.
Oh, my Lord.
Incomplete. Oh, that was a who wants it throw from Stewart.
That will rank up there with one of the worst passes Cordell Stewart ever attempted. He's got Keith Bullock right in his face right off the bat. Bullock just kills the play. But Cordell, you just can't do this. Look at that. And Bobby Shaw gets up there and helps that's where your receivers become defensive backs. The heck with the catch. They're trying to keep it from being intercepted.
37-yard field goal attempt by Brown is right down the middle, and Bill Cowher Steelers now enjoy a 10-point lead.
This is Will Burns. You've reached my cell phone. Leave me a message, and I'll call you back.
Will, it's Gail. I can't believe you're not answering your phone. Look, get back here. The client changed their mind. They actually like the work. All we have to do is show the plans to one more group, and the job is ours. Call me before it's too late.
With ordinary cell phones, you leave messages. But with Nextel Direct Connect, the digital two-way radio, you get right through.
So Cordell Stewart wearing the Pittsburgh lead on his jersey, 10 at 27-17, and making sure that his wide receivers know he appreciated their help on that infield fly rule pass that he threw that wasn't intercepted. It's to Derek Mason on the kickoff. And he is cut down shy of the 20. That was Mike Logan with a tackle, and tomorrow is Laugh Your Head Off Monday night on CBS. Starts King of Queens, then Yes Dear, then Everybody Loves Raymond, then Becker, then Carol Burnett stars in a brand new special. Plenty of surprises and a cast of all her special friends. CBS Laugh Your Head Off Monday night. Well, we need a night like that, don't we? And tomorrow night it appears that CBS is the place to be. Now the Titans for the first time trailing by more than a touchdown. There underneath the Wycheck and the tight end to the 25-yard line in the grasp of Earl Holmes with a gain of 7. Earl Holmes from Florida A&M, a top tackler last year for the Steelers and again this year. And while he has only 1 sack, he has almost 11 tackles behind the line, 10.5 for a loss. McNair, complete again, this time to Derek Mason. First down out at the 36-yard line. Chad Scott, the defender. And a flag down, and then another, as Mason and Scott have been at it all day.
Well, and he got up in Earl Holmes' face as well. Earl Holmes was one of the guys over there, and Derek Mason took exception to something. And that's Jeff Fisher yelling to his own guys.
That's a killer penalty.
Yeah, he's not yelling at the Steelers. He's yelling at his own guys to keep their composure.
Unsportsmanlike conduct, number 85, taunting of the offense. 15-yard penalty, replay, second down.
Wow, you take away the gain, plus you add 15 for the penalty.
Well, taunting, there he is right there, and that's Earl Holmes, number 50, and you can see, I don't know what he said to him. He got up, he kind of smacked him in the face with a football. I'm sure Jeff Fisher is saying, wait a minute, you know, my guy weighs 185 pounds and Earl Holmes weighs 250. You ought to be able to say a little something or do a little something.
It was a dead ball foul, so it's marked off from the spot of the catch. So it's second down and 6. McNair gets away from the pressure. What an effort by McNair, and he has a first down at the 34. Well, we're seeing 2 of the top rushing quarterbacks in the NFL, and Steve McNair and Cordell Stewart.
Well, this has been their modus operandi for as long as they've been in the league. And you can see that the pass rush of the Steelers, they all got flat-footed at the same time. They all kind of like, you know, it's like a defensive back that comes up to look. They kind of all came up, stopped, took a look at the same time, and McNair got away.
So since '97, when Cordell Stewart became the starting quarterback for the Steelers, almost 2,000 yards rushing, and McNair over that 2,000 mark. Open on the pass, Derek Mason spins away and then steps out of bounds at midfield. Another Tennessee first down.
Oh, you saw Mason. He wanted to go back and say something to Chad Scott that time.
And then he skipped away like a little 10-year-old guy.
Yeah, Chad Scott, look at the bumper he's giving to Derek Mason right here. And then when he comes up, he doesn't put a good tackle on him. He assumes he's going to step out of bounds. Bad assumption.
7th catch for Mason, 114 yards today.
Play it.
There, well protected, finds Wycheck. Another first down at the Pittsburgh 34. Well, Steve McNair said Mama came up on Thanksgiving and brought that sweet potato pie. How sweet he's throwing today.
Well, the Steelers are at their best when they're blitzing and coming with more than just 4. They came with only 4. They sat back in a zone, and you saw the results. Wycheck had too much opportunity to find a soft spot in the middle. This is a team that should blitz to be successful.
McNair to Wycheck, another catch, his 6th today. He leads Tennessee on the season with 38. Earl Holmes made the defensive play.
Earl was trying to wrestle the ball away from Frank, and he wasn't willing to separate. Well,
Well, since '96, this may surprise you, Wycheck tied with Shannon Sharp for most catches by a tight end in the NFL.
And of course, that's why he's gone to the last 3 Pro Bowls.
Far side. Is Drew Bennett punished on that tackle by Chad Scott, but hangs on right at the yardstick. It'll be close to a first down. That's Drew, the Tennessee fan. Champ?
Well, I think he gets the first down with that spot. It's right on the 25. This is a sure tackle, and give Drew credit. He knew exactly where to go for the first down. A lot of times you'll see rookies that'll break their pattern off a yard or 2 short. They don't have an awareness of the sticks. He sat right on it.
McNair having his best passing game of the season, 275 yards, stays on the ground to George. Runs through a tackle, picks up about 8, and a flag is down.
Monstrous hole on the right side. That must be why.
Another disappointing call for Coach Jeff Fisher of the Titans, denying a solid 8-yard pickup on first down.
Holding. Number 76. Offense. 10-yard penalty. Replay first down.
Jason Matthews, who is starting today in the place of Pro Bowler Brad Hopkins. Hopkins with a plate in his broken left hand, but should return sometime in the coming month.
Yeah, Hopkins had surgery on Monday. He broke it last Sunday in their game against Cincinnati. And again, this is the time of the year where every team is in the same position. You've got to find some depth. Somebody who you don't count on has to step up and turn in a good performance.
Give it to Skip Hicks. And Hicks tripped up at the 29-yard line by Dwayne Washington. That's only his 9th carry of the entire season as the number 3 back behind Eddie George. Well, who is the best Smith in 2001 in the NFL? You like Emmett? How about Bruce? Jimmy? Lamar? How about Rod out in Denver or Antoine? Just log on, cast your vote at NFL.com. Last Sunday we asked which of the season's original backup running backs has the most superstar NFL potential. You said Sean Alexander by 60% vote. And McNair, running out of time, spends the first Tennessee timeout. 9:16 left in the 4th.
How is Dave Thomas going to decide which...
Travel Industry Association of America.
Welcome back to Music City, home of the Grand Ole Opry, Nashville, Tennessee. The Tennessee Titans making some music, but trailing by 10. They've gained more yards against the Steeler defense than any team in the league this year. And here's one of the reasons. McNair finds another man open. Wycheck. Oh, cartwheel to the 2. Lee Flowers saves the touchdown.
Well, that'll be shown on every highlight show tonight. Frank Wycheck going to the air. He tried to get it into the end zone. What a throw by Steve McNair over the outstretched arms of Joey Porter. And Frank going for a little theater at the end. How perfect of a pass by Steve McNair. Joey Porter had the outstanding underneath coverage. Boy, that was McNair's best throw of the game.
He's over 300 yards passing, first and goal at the 3. George to the goal line, not quite in. Stopped just inside the 1 by Jason Gilden. You know, back to Wycheck, he was a college friend of our Bonnie Bernstein, and Bernstein was a gymnast. You know, they talk. We've seen them talking this week, maybe going over that flip routine. McNair straight ahead. Does he get in? Yes! Touchdown, Tennessee.
Oh, wait a minute. You know, that's a quarterback sneak. It might get called back. I think every time a Tennessee fan looks at a quarterback sneak, they're going to think of the Baltimore game. They're looking around to see if anybody's going to stop it. Folks, that was the plan that they had on that Monday night game. Instead of bobbling the snap, Steve McNair took it cleanly. He got in.
Well, the Titans answer the Steelers. And now Nittany has the extra point. It's a field goal game with plenty of time left. 8:23 in the fourth.
Americans are asking.
Well, high-scoring, offensive action, plenty of great plays. What an entertaining game it's been. 27-24 Pittsburgh.
Javon Curse on the bike. Unfortunately, this isn't the Tour de France.
Troy Edwards and Hank Poteet back. It's Poteet this time at the 5. Steelers had better luck with Edwards. Remember, he took the last one back 81 yards to set up a score. Darrell Porter and Joe Walker in on that last tackle. Tonight on 60 Minutes, Thomas Kincaid, as we told you, sold more canvases than all those great French impressionists. That's why he's on 60 Minutes tonight. Followed by Oscar winner Tom Hanks. Meg Ryan, blockbuster romantic comedy You've Got Mail tonight on CBS. Pittsburgh begins from the 19. Crowd on its feet, making noise. Bettis. Oh, what a collision as he goes out of bounds at the 30-yard line as he runs over Samari Roll. As Jerome has said, I don't ride the bus, I am the bus.
When you can hear that crack all the way upstairs on the far side of the field, you know it was a pretty good hit. And I think when we take a look at Perry Phoenix and find him in the hot tub later tonight, we'll know it was for sure.
You feel that one until Wednesday.
Ooh, baby, that loosens the cleats on your shoes.
I'll have to measure, take the chains across the far side to see if Bettis picked up the full 10 as he now is closing in on that 1,000-yard season. He needs 13 more. He has 69 yards today. 13 more for his 8th.
Just a smidge.
And Javon Curse is a brilliant young defensive end here in Tennessee. You know, in just 2.5 seasons, 35 sacks, but even more impressive, 18 forced fumbles. 18 times more you get the ball because he's made a big hit.
Yeah, take a look at that. He's been hot lately. He had 6 sacks in just the last 3 games, giving him 9 for the season. But brilliant is the only way to describe his pass rushing skills. He is just one of those guys. When he's on the field, you hear the phrase playmaker. Well, he is.
But Tennessee without his services for most of this game. Pittsburgh continuing their rushing average, best in the NFL.
Well, that's because of Stewart's long run. That helps.
And Stewart sneaks this one and appears to have nudged it over the 30. It's marked right on the 30 for a first down if that linesman's foot is in the right spot. In the meantime, we'll go to New York for this update.
All right, thanks, Dick. The Dolphins down 11. First play of the fourth quarter. It's Fiedler to a man named Jed. Weaver hauls it in. 21-17, Bills in front. Let's go back to Dick and Dan.
All right, thanks, Jim and Hoy. Around the league, there are no easy games.
No, and Miami and Buffalo, boy, haven't they had some great ones over the years?
And Bill's trying to reward their great fans with a win. First down, Steelers, leading by 3. Here comes the Bucs. And he makes an exit at the 30-yard line after no gain. Randall Godfrey of the tackle. Well, Jim Nantz has an encore report.
All right, thank you. This is Kansas City. Mike Cloud, only his second rushing attempt of the year, and he breaks free for a 15-yard touchdown. 19-7 Chiefs with only 3.5 minutes to play in Kansas City. Let's go back to Dick and Dan.
All right, thank you, Jim. Cloud from Boston College trying to give Dick Vermeil a win to enjoy. There haven't been enough in KC. Zeroué, who has a big touchdown today, now a tailback. Stewart appeared to be a planned draw. Is out across the 35.
That was a plan all the way. Zeroué fakes to the right side, and Cordell just follows him right up into the hole. It's just so hard for a defense. See, there goes Zeroué right up into the hole, and here comes Cordell right behind him. It's such a conflicting look for the defense. You see the running back pass the quarterback, so your initial thought is it's a pass. You start to draw it back into coverage, and then here comes the quarterback right up into the hole. It really gives them an awkward read.
Big day for Stewart, running and passing over 300 yards. 3rd and 4, another draw. Breaks a tackle, but is stopped short by Josh Evans. Donald Mitchell also in on the play. Punting team comes on for the Steelers.
This time his pocket disintegrates in a hurry, and they are all over it as they try. You see the Donald Mitchell with the blitz coming in unaccounted for, and rather than go upfield, he went into the middle of the pocket and caught Cordell Stewart trying to escape. Good angle of attack.
Josh Miller to punt. He's had one partially blocked today. Flag down, and might have been delay of game.
Ball start, number 27. Offense, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
Well, they'll do it over again with Derek Mason, who led the league in all-purpose yardage a year ago. That got him a ticket to Honolulu in the Pro Bowl. Brent Alexander guilty of the false start. Mason so tough in the open field. His best punt return this year, 20 yards, but has a couple of career punt return touchdowns. Mason retreats to the 20. And surrounded at the 28-yard line with Mike Logan there first. Timeout. Just under 5 minutes left in the 4th quarter. Steelers by 3.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by DirecTV, the #1 digital satellite entertainment provider, and by Gap.
.453 left in the 4th quarter with the Steelers leading by 3, but Tennessee has racked up more points and more yards against Pittsburgh than any opponent this year, and Steve McNair, having a hot day, goes to work from his 27. Whitecheck, another short yardage play. Earl Holmes the tackle.
Well, right now Tim Lewis, the defensive coordinator for the Steelers, has got to think about the old saying, you dance with who brung you. And the blitz has what has made this Steeler defense what it is. And when we sit back, and there's Tim Lewis there in the middle holding onto his microphone, when they have settled in with a 3- or 4-man pass rush and played a deeper zone, McNair's been burning them with it.
6 yards on that pass to Whitecheck. McNair escapes the pocket and is pushed out of bounds shy of the 1st down, and late flags thrown in the Pittsburgh secondary. Aaron Smith ran McNair out of bounds.
Well, Chad Scott was lying on top of Kevin Dyson, and I mean on top of him. It looked like a collegiate wrestling match of some type. How they got in that position, I'm not sure.
Yeah, the preliminary signal was defensive holding against the Steelers.
Guess that was
holding. Number 30, defense. 5-yard penalty enforced from the end of the run. Automatic 1st down.
Well, there. Take a look on the left. There comes Chad Scott. Nice open field tackle on Kevin Dyson. And not only does he tackle him, but then he goes for riding time. He's going to stay on top of him, and he didn't let him up for about 5 or 6 seconds.
You need the official to go over and slap 3 times.
You could tell I was an old wrestler.
Yeah.
Chad,
I like that.
Chad went for the double dip on that one.
1st down out at the 40 on the penalty. McNair, fine field, the man underneath, Eddie George, and a gain of almost 6. Holmes and Porter make the tackle.
By and large, Steve McNair has been getting a pretty good look at the field. This offensive line of his without Brad Hopkins, and of course anchored by the great Bruce Matthews in the middle, has been hanging in there. Not that Matthews, the 74 is the great one. Yeah, that one there. Multiple Matthews here in the offensive line for the Titans.
Casey Hampton, the rookie from Texas, nose to nose with Matthews. He was 5 years old when Matthews started his NFL career. Intercepted! Here comes Chad Scott. Touchdown, Pittsburgh.
He was throwing that ball to Frank Wycheck, and Frank never knew it was coming. McNair tossed it to Wycheck, and Wycheck never turned around.
Scott's fourth interception, his second touchdown on a pick, and what a big play that is.
McNair reads the blitz, is expecting Wycheck to react to the quick dump off, and Frank Wycheck never, ever knows that McNair has even thrown the ball. Oh, boy, what a backbreaker for the Titans.
And for Scott, the fifth-year veteran from Maryland, another touchdown to this season. Brown adds the extra point, and boy, that just threw a huge blanket over this sellout crowd of 68,000. Dousing the emotion, it appeared Tennessee had all the momentum.
Steve McNair reads a blitz, and Frank Wycheck is not even aware that he has thrown the ball. And that Chad Scott has had a difficult day today. He has been working hard. He's been victimized. He's been in on a lot of plays. He gets called for holding just the previous play, and he gets a holiday gift basket delivered well before Christmas, courtesy of Steve McNair and Frank Wycheck.
Yeah, that had a big red bow on it, didn't it?
Oh, boy, it sure did. A little showboating to go on down in the end zone.
Could do without that part of it, but
been a tough day for Chad.
And McNair, who has tremendous numbers, 22 of 30, over 300 yards. Top performance, a couple of touchdowns, and victimized there. Just a miscommunication.
Yeah, Steve sees the hot blitz coming from that side. He knows he's got to get rid of it in a hurry, and it's really the receiver's responsibility to recognize blitz and be aware that the ball's coming way before you anticipate it.
Well, Scott, the leader of the Steelers, was now his fourth interception. 10-point game again, 3:23 left. Tennessee has 2 timeouts remaining. Short kick up into the lineman area. Kevin Long, the center, in to make the tackle, or along the return. There he is, a rare chance to handle the ball. Well, football on the weekends, and now college basketball. CBS Sports, the home of NCAA basketball, and Kansas, Arizona. 2 great basketball traditional powers meet on Saturday after the Army-Navy game, or you'll see Boston and Michigan on the home of the NCAA championship, CBS 4.
Man, haven't heard that theme music since last March. Right. I guess early April is when March Madness finally ended.
Now McNair has to work against the clock, down by 10. Hit from behind as he scrambles out of the pocket. Deshae Townsend made the tackle. It's not a sack, as McNair did pick up a couple.
Tennessee has both of their timeouts, 2 of their 3 remaining, so they'll have to be somewhat judicious.
McNair gets it away. Almost. Is it intercepted? Yes. Deshae Townsend, another pick, as he was able to shoestring it with a dive at the 43-yard line, and credit Aaron Smith, who was pressuring and grabbing McNair as he threw the ball.
Well, Steve looking, can't find, steps up. The pressure from underneath, and again, you know, sometimes you just got to take the sack. And that is a sensational play by Townsend. Look at him dig out that football. His hand is underneath it. And keep in mind that rule has been changed. Even if the ball touches the ground, but you have it under your control, it's a legitimate reception.
And it's his first career interception for Townsend.
And Jeff Fisher has to challenge it.
Has challenged the ruling on the field that the pass was intercepted.
He has no choice. The game is all but slipped out of his fingers. His only hope is that he can somehow get this overturned. So even if it's a small probability, he's still got to go for it. But you look at this angle right here. Watch Townsend and look at his hand underneath the football. Yeah, I tell you what, I think they gave him credit for the catch on the field. And I don't know that our referee is going to, you know, It looks like he's got his hand underneath it. If I'm
both ends of the ball,
if I'm Bill Levy, I just don't think I can overturn that. You got to give these guys credit for making plays.
The ground didn't help him make that interception. That's part of the judgment. And Deshae Townsend now waits somewhat anxiously to see if he now has his first National Football League interception. He played at Alabama.
Yeah. In today's interpretation, the ball can touch the ground as long as you have it under your control. As long as you have control with the football. Remember in the old days, if we just saw it flick the grass, that was the end of that.
So that would have probably been called incomplete.
Yeah, 3 years ago, I think that would have flown.
Well, there are two coaches we said earlier today while the review continues that know each other well from playing days when Fisher was a defensive back and a punt returner with the Bears and Mike Ditka, and Cowher was a special teamer and a linebacker with Philadelphia. And Fisher said, just remind Mr. Cowher, he broke my leg in a game on a punt return. And Cowher's answer was, yeah, but I helped you start a pretty good career.
Jeff acknowledges that, well, yeah, I wouldn't be where I am now if that wouldn't happen, I guess. But good friends, these two.
Two good guys.
And a lot of success at a very early age.
Well, here is now the decision with all the hopes of Tennessee
After
line.
reviewing the play, the ball did touch the ground, was not controlled by the defensive player. 3rd down and 9 on the 39.
Wow. One man's opinion, that's all it takes. Yes, the ball, as he said, we can see the ball touches the ground.
And we welcome those who've been watching action elsewhere on CBS, part of our doubleheader. Dick Enberg, Dan Dierdorf, Bonnie Bernstein here at Adelphia Stadium in Nashville. High scoring against two tough defenses. It's been a terrific game, 34-24. Steelers lead. Tennessee with a second life after an overrule on a replay. And now McNair throwing downfield, complete at the 40-yard line. Chad Scott stops Kevin Dyson, but it's a first down for the Titans. They have 2 timeouts left. 2.5 minutes to go. They're down by 10. A pass interception by Chad Scott for 45 yards and a touchdown, giving the Steelers the 10-point cushion here late in the 4th quarter.
Not really forced out so much by pressure as just buying extra time. And Dyson comes back to the football. Scott was with him all the way, but he did a good job of coming back and presenting himself as a target to his quarterback. Now, Tennessee went ahead and took a timeout, so this drops them down now to only having 1 remaining.
Plus the 2-minute warning.
So, again, Dick, they looked like they were in perfect position to drive down for, at the very least, the field goal that would have tied the game at 27. But the miscommunication and the throw right into the hands of Chad Scott has put the Tennessee Titans in a bad spot, because we're not just talking about this game, we're talking about them potentially dropping to 4-6.
Steelers started today 7-2, the leaders in the Central. Here's the blitz, and McNair sidesteps it and then throws it away. Well, a fairly rare occasion, and you mentioned earlier, Dan Dierdorf, that it's like an old American Football League game. Both teams have a pair of receivers over 100 yards in catches. Mason and Dyson, both over 100 for McNair and Tennessee, and Burris and Ward both have caught balls for more than 100 yards for Pittsburgh. It's been highly entertaining.
Well, especially when you consider that we're talking about 2 teams that have made their mark in this league running the football to Jerome Bettis and Eddie George.
McNair buys some time, has to throw this one away to the sidelines. Gave his man Dyson a chance. He was well covered by Chad Scott. So 3rd and 10. And Mike Logan was the safety on the blitz, hawking the thrower McNair.
He gave him a chance if the field was about 60 yards wide. So take a look at this for Tennessee. This is catastrophic if they lose this game. Going to 4-6, you look at their remaining schedule, you'd have to say that they are in just dire straits, and that's an understatement.
3rd and 10. Underneath, incomplete. Wycheck was the intended receiver. I saw a flag fly, but apparently not. So now this one play might well define more than the game for the Tennessee Titans. They need 10 points. And for those of you not with us at the end of the first half, it appeared there was 1 second remaining when it was ruled the half was over with Tennessee in field goal range and denied. How big is that? Fourth and 10, he goes for it all. Incomplete to Drew Bennett. Chad Scott broke it up for Pittsburgh. And the Steelers take over on downs with 2:09 left.
And there has to be such disbelief, not just among the people, you know, sitting in this stadium, but in this entire Tennessee organization, that they have reached this point of the season and they have but 4 wins. This is, remember, this is the defending AFC Central champions.
13-3 the last 2 years.
And to find themselves staring at a 4-6 record and almost an impossible task left at the end of this season.
Cordell Stewart from his own 41 now just trying to manage the final 2 minutes of the game and gives to the bus Bettis for maybe 2. Keith Bullock the tackler, and that takes us to the 2-minute warning. Well, they called their final timeout, did the Titans, at the 2:03 mark. So they'll use the 2-minute warning for their final break. Don't forget, this is a big doubleheader day on CBS. 2 games to follow. Most of you will see the Oakland Raiders, John Gruden's team, 7-2 in the AFC West against the Giants, and the Giants need a win. The Super Bowl defending champion Baltimore Ravens will be at Jacksonville, where the Jaguars try to put a bite into Baltimore's return hopes to the big one.
How about that matchup there between Lincoln Kennedy, the big right tackle for the Oakland Raiders, against Michael Strahan of the Giants? That's worth buying a ticket to watch.
Rich Gannon tried to pick up some league MVP votes from that New York press. Many are convinced he's at this point as good as anyone in the league. Stewart kept the ball and was tackled for what would be probably a sack by Robert Smith, who was a basketball star for the Michigan State Spartans. Steeler coach Bill Cowher was trying to hide a smile moments ago. No wonder he's happy. Here you got the best defense in the league, but you give up 24, and all of a sudden Cordell Stewart has another terrific game.
I think this is 4 out of his last 5 games where he's thrown the ball for over 200 yards.
No interceptions.
No interceptions. Keep in mind, I think in like his 30-plus previous games, he had like 1 200-yard passing day. And we saw it coming today, Dick, when he did what? He threw the ball, 3 out of their 4 first plays today. That sets a tempo for the kind of passing day he was going to have.
Bettis just grinding it out, brings up 4th down. Here are Stewart's numbers: 254 yards passing, 66 rushing. He had a 48-yard touchdown run, remember. That's 320 yards produced by Cordell Stewart. He proving his worth today.
And I know at the halfway point of this season that I think the majority of football pundits in this country pretty much agreed that the Oakland Raiders were the class of the AFC. And I think Pittsburgh is saying that they've got competition for that right now. That you just can't say that the Raiders are head and shoulders better than everybody else in this conference. Right now, the Steelers are playing just as well.
Josh Miller runs out as much clock as he can, and now Derek Mason. Mason hit hard. Finishing the job was Troy Edwards as he came in high on the hit of Derek Mason, and the clock stops at 1:03.
You know, Dick, earlier today, before kickoff, Mike Munchak, the longtime Houston Oiler guard, who's now the Titans offensive line coach, received his Hall of Fame ring from John Bankert. And there is a look at his ring. And Mike, for so many years, such a fine offensive lineman in this league. And as I said, he's the Titans offensive line coach. So he's gone from Bruce Matthews' teammate to his coach to the Hall of Fame. Deservedly so.
Bravo. Oh, another interception, and cutting in was Mike Logan, making a big move in front of that McNair pass. Logan's second of the season. And that will seal a very difficult loss for these Tennessee Titans. And the Pittsburgh Steelers just seem to be getting better and better.
Well, it's a whole lot easier to play defense when you know this is coming. So it's easy to sit on a route, and that's exactly what happened right there with Logan. He's guarding Eddie George coming out of the backfield, and yeah, it's a lot easier to make a break on the ball and make a chancy play like that, jumping in front when you know you don't have much to lose.
Tough place to play for a visitor, and the Steelers have never won here at Adelphia. And Cowher and his Pittsburgh team mighty pleased.
Almost 20 years since they've had a start like this.
Stewart with a kneel down. He'll have to exercise that one more time, and then Pittsburgh will be a happy lot going back to the Steel City with an 8-2 record.
Bill Cowher told us something yesterday that you don't hear very often from coaches, especially as you start moving into the month of December. He said, my football team is getting better every week. They've been healthy, and most times at this this time of the year, a lot of coaches are just trying to hang on, trying to fill in for guys that are hurt. And you've got the Pittsburgh Steelers in the eyes of their coach that just are improving measurably every week. That's kind of dangerous to the rest of the guys in this league, Dick.
Absolutely. 18 years ago they started 8-2 Pittsburgh, and it's been that long since they've been able to repeat such a big break out of the gate. The Steelers improved their hold on first place in the AFC Central. An impressive win today, led by Cordell Stewart. Jerome Bettis chipped in, but it was Stewart the star. 2 passing touchdowns.